This is the meeting of the San Mateo Union High School District Board of Trustees. I'm calling the session to order at 7:00 p.m. on May 9th, 2024. I'll begin with a roll call. Trustee Griffin.
Present.
Trustee Chavez.
Present.
Trustee Jacobson.
Present.
Trustee Land.
Present.
And I am present. Tonight we have a team from Hannah Interpreting as our Spanish interpreters. For those who would like to attend a meeting virtually in Spanish, that option is available. Hannah Interpreting, would you please communicate that for us this evening? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trustee. In order to provide language access, this meeting will have simultaneous bidirectional interpretation into English and Spanish. If you're bilingual, you don't have to click anything. But if you're not bilingual in English and Spanish and you're using your laptop, in a few seconds, you'll see an icon shaped like a globe at the bottom of your screen. Click on Language Interpretation and then select English. From your phone or an iPad, in a few seconds, locate the three-dot menu in one of the corners of your screen, click on Language Interpretation, and then select English. When you speak, do so at a moderate pace because the interpreters are going to be simultaneously interpreting everything you say. A efecto de proporcionar acceso lingüístico, tendremos interpretación simultánea al español. Si usted es bilingüe, no tiene que presionar nada. Pero si usted no es bilingüe y está en su computadora, en unos segundos verá un icono en forma de globo en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Haga clic en Interpretación y después seleccione Español o Spanish. Desde su iPad o su teléfono, en unos segundos, busca el menú de 3 puntos o que dice More en una de las esquinas de la pantalla. Haga clic en Interpretación y después seleccione Español o Spanish y después Aceptar, Finalizar o Done. Cuando hable, hágalo en español y las intérpretes estarán simultáneamente interpretando todo lo que usted diga. Gracias. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. If you wish to view closed captions of this meeting, please view the meeting on the SMUHSD board meeting YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel can be found on our website. You may view the captions in English as we live stream our meeting tonight, and you may view the captions in a variety of other languages if you choose to watch after this meeting has ended. Viewers may request additional accommodations by calling 650-558-2201. For our deaf and hard of hearing community, we have a team from Hannah Interpreting Services, and they will be interpreting our meeting this evening. We would like to ask everyone to speak at a clear and reasonable pace for our interpreters. Thank you. Okay, will our student board reps please help us with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to report of actions taken in closed session. Upon the motion of Trustee Land and seconded by Trustee Griffin, the board moved to approve 3 special education settlements with a vote of 5-0. We will go on to adopt the agenda. The Board of Trustees may either adopt the agenda as presented or make a change to the agenda through a motion, second, and majority vote. The Brown Act prohibits any additions to the agenda without a 72-hour public notice for regularly scheduled board meetings. Are there any questions or comments from the Board of Trustees or Superintendent with respect to the agenda?
Yeah, I just have a quick comment. President Andrea Zuniga, I apologize. I forgot to ask if after we adopt the agenda, if I can have a quick moment of silence.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Thank you.
Sorry, I should have asked sooner.
Fine. Anybody else? Our student board reps, do y'all have any questions? Okay, great. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to.
So moved.
Great. We have a motion by
Second.
Trustee Griffin and a second by Trustee Land. All in favor?
Aye.
Student board reps, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, motion passes. So as we amended the agenda, we will now go ahead and proceed with a moment of silence. Go ahead.
Thank you, President Andrea Zuniga. I just wanted to have a moment of silence for our ninth grader, Cappuccino, passed away last week, and the Cappuccino community was really affected as well as many in our district. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family, friends, and our entire community. If we could just have a moment of silence, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going on to public comments. If you are joining us in person and wish to make a comment about an agenda item or during the public comment section at the beginning of the agenda, please fill out a request to address the board form and submit it to the secretary. This form should be given to the secretary before the agenda item begins. If you are joining us virtually, use the raise hand feature on Zoom to be recognized. When invited to do so, your camera must be on before you are called upon to make a public comment. We will call on you to begin your comment once we have promoted you into the meeting. If your camera is not operational, please email your comments to the Board of Trustees at board, BOARD, at SMUHSD.org. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comment depending upon the topic and number of persons wishing to be heard. I will call on in-person comment requests first. Ms. Aquino, are there any?
There are no requests.
Okay, thank you. And now, is there anybody on Zoom?
Yes, I'm promoting Ian Kim.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Kim. Go ahead. Thank you.
My name is Ian Kim, and I'm part of Middle College, and we have a research paper, and one step of the research paper is about action. And I wrote my research paper on like AI on education. I'm wondering like if the board has any policies that they are considering due to like any ethical concerns or whatnot.
Thank you. Superintendent Booker, would you could you either address it or talk with him?
Yeah. So as a part of public comment, we don't typically do a back and forth, but what I will say, Mr. Kim, is that we are having a board study session next week on artificial intelligence. The date, remind me of the date, May 16th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. In this space right here. It'll be broadcast over Zoom as well. So you're welcome to attend and participate.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other folks on Zoom?
There are not.
Okay, great. All right, we will go on to governing board comments. Who would like to begin with the governing board comments? Go ahead, Trustee Griffin. Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you.
I'll defer.
All right, Trustee Chavez, go ahead.
Thank you, Trustee Griffin, and thank you, Trustee Andrade Zuniga. I just want to share about a couple of things to highlight our amazing students and parents. I went to a couple of things. Student performances. Let's see, on April 26th, I went to the Night Moves at Hillsdale, my first time ever attending. It was amazing. And the brochures, they're better than the yearbooks I had when I grew up. And I'm serious. They are better than the yearbooks I had growing up. But I want to highlight the fact that there's about 5 different versions. Everything inside is the same, but they're highlighting a different performer on several of them. And this one is very near and dear to Trustee Jacobson. This is her daughter on the front page of this one.
Aww.
I just was so impressed with the performance. I mean, there's different versions, but the inside is all the same. I just want to say it was amazing. And I look forward to going every year. That was beyond incredible. So kudos to all the students and staff and everybody involved. I also attended the music performance at Cappuccino on May 3rd. That was amazing as well. We really have amazing students at every school site. So I have more things I wanted to say, but I'm going to leave it at those two because I want to highlight. Oh, one more thing. The LCAP meeting was very well attended. I was very impressed. A lot of dialogue, a lot of parent participation was right here in the district office. That was last week. It was awesome to have a full table of our very engaged Latino parents. We had a translator there. I just want to give a shout out because everybody who was attending, participated, they felt comfortable, they spoke up. So anybody who's contemplating whether you want to come or not, come, and we'll have the translation there. And if it's the reverse, I've told you, I've been to Latino parent nights where I need the translation because I'm not multilingual, unfortunately, but it's great. And everybody was participating. So big shout out to our parents, students for the performances, and our staff as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Trustee Griffin.
Yeah, my topic isn't nearly as interesting. I'm going to talk about financial literacy. And I think anybody who's watched the news, there's about to be a referendum and a vote coming, I think, in November that would make it a mandatory requirement to teach financial literacy in our high schools. They'd make it a graduation requirement. And first off, so everybody's clear, I'm an accountant. Financial literacy is really important. When I first got involved with education, it was a long time ago, and I was teaching project business with junior achievement in middle school. And I was teaching with a guy I had gone to San Mateo with. It was over at Bowditch. But it talked, that class covered all the elements that they're talking about. So I'm in favor of financial literacy. I think determining the curriculum that should be taught should not be put to a vote and come as like a popular vote that, anybody can qualify a referendum. We need to have trained, qualified educators within the system that we have now. And that system provides for input, ample time for input and comment, hearings, that if people are not happy, they can come to their local board. I think school board governance is very much local and not statewide. And the state, should stay up there, at 5 or 6 miles above us and let us manage the curriculum, let the experts, and I'm not an expert certainly, but I think it's a dangerous precedent because it does get into education, but it just, it just shows a good intention with the referendum process can not necessarily always work the way it was intended to. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the potential for that. So everybody should follow that because I think it could really impact the way schools are taught. And the other thing about that, we already have more than enough to fill everybody's daily workload. And I think we even have an economics section somewhere, in there. So I mean, it's kind of and the state, the people at the state are really being quiet. They've swallowed their whistle, so to speak, about the issue. It's a political issue, and they don't want to say anything for fear of alienating some of the voters out there. So anyway.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Land.
I totally agree. Thank you for sharing that. I usually don't have much to present, but I was at a lot lately. First, I want to really commend the math task force under Brian Simmons. It was a great presentation for our feeder districts connected to the math teachers in all the high schools. I'm glad that came back up to speed. The principals were there. I got to see how we're trying to disrupt and connect. So I thought that was an amazing event. I went just the other day to the Millbrae Community Center for the district talk. 3 of us were there. 4 of us were there. Wow, we had 4 of us. Yeah.
Different tables.
Different tables. Yeah. I ousted somebody from my table. Sorry, Jennifer. But it was a really great discussion talking about really how to work together, how to have kids seen, how to address the issues of racism and what's been going on. I really thought that was really well done. Really great discussions at my table and at the other tables. That was amazing. Last thing, this Friday, we have, as president of the San Mateo School Boards Association, this is my last meeting as president. But I want to say congratulations to our school board members and the new school board situation that we've set up over the last couple of years. It's been amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you'll be at the dinner tomorrow night. I know a group is, so that's awesome. I'm just really proud of SMUHSD and what we've done and how we've evolved with our student board members and how it's really working. So thank you and congratulations. See you tomorrow night. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Trustee Jacobson, did you want to say something?
I'll just say, yeah, brief thing. Yes, I went to Night Moves and helped a lot with the sets and the striking of the sets, and it was a huge effort. And I just want to commend the school and the community who gave so much time to put on a production like that. And I know that there are many events at all of our sites that take so much time and care, and they offer these experiences for our students to be really memorable, and be, really these spotlight moments of their high school experience. And so I just wanted to give a big shout out and express my gratitude for it. I also wanted to give a shout out to Hillsdale for the Democracy Day that the seniors put on. So this is a new project for the seniors. They had a steering committee made up of students that planned the entire day. There were groups of students that planned lessons all about democracy and saving democracy. What are the threats to democracy we have right now? And they taught these lessons to the underclassmen. You can probably say something about it too, but I attended 2 sessions or 2 classroom lessons. I was very impressed. I could tell that probably a lot of the things that we'll be talking about in the instructional framework, the teaching methods and the presentations, the kids have brought into their teaching style. And I know that they have picked that up and learned that from their own classroom experiences. It was phenomenal. They also had a panel of elected officials to answer questions, and I was not invited to be on the panel, but that's okay. Anyway, I thought it was a very good, successful event and something great that the seniors were tasked to implement. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to start with my comments with a land acknowledgement that was written by the Cappuccino students a couple of years ago. It says, our community acknowledges that all of our campuses lie on the ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone. The Ramaytush are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula, whose land was stolen from them and whose native language was lost because of Spanish colonization. As settlers on stolen land of the peninsula, we should, alongside the Ramaytush, remembering and honoring their ancestors and relatives. We thank the first people, the Ramaytush Ohlone, for taking care of the land we use now for education and activities. Our responsibility of caring for the earth is unique and personal to each of us, but should be rooted in allyship with the Ramaytush Ohlone, so we can work together to protect and preserve the land for future generations. I also attended the Let's Talk event on Tuesday. It was a really good experience, and I just hope we keep having these conversations as they get deeper and deeper and deeper, because it's really important for us to address our own biases, our own experiences, and kind of validate what's happening in our school district. And along with a lot of the dehumanizing talk, I think the dialogue and the seriousness of how we're addressing all of this will definitely help. I attended the Fiesta Latina at Aragon and at Hillsdale. And of course, I love it because they played all the all the jams from my childhood. So that was awesome. But it's just nice to see the community come together. So much food, the students are all involved, lots of performances. It was like super inclusive of our culture. It was great. I'm always blown away by just the caliber of performances and just how everybody pitches in, and it's just very telling to our community. I also attended the Avid Awards night and potluck at Aragon last week, and it's nice. Like we don't get a lot of time to go out to all of the different sites all the time. So the ones that we haven't been able to see, it's just really nice to spend time and to just recognize the students, because it's because of all of you that were here. Yes, and also I'd like to congratulate our student board reps and our board for pushing forward such an amazing program for the students to learn about how to be part of the democratic process, about how to use your voice to create change, to create important change. So yeah, that'll be amazing. So I hope to see everybody. Let's see, I wanted to always thank our IT folks, Lucy and Jorge, and the folks that keep our building just nice and beautiful, and everybody that sets our rooms up. Thank you. This is also Mental Health Month. It's really important for us to identify when our friends and our family members and our community is hurting, to provide that support. So, and then if you need support, please reach out. This month is very dear to my heart because my nephew died by suicide a couple years ago, and he was in high school. So, I really hope that never happens to anybody again. And it can happen at any moment. So please, if you need help, please reach out. I also wanted to just acknowledge a lot of the suffering that there is in our world right now, especially with our young people. Our young folks, their futures are just getting wiped out. Education, opportunity, just keep everybody in mind and in heart, and how we vote and how we move along in our lives and how we affect our community. But I just wanted to really encourage all of our everybody to vote, especially in your local elections. Local elections, they affect the community right now. And so if you want to see some change, get involved, because there is no more effective way, especially locally, than to vote. So yeah, so that's all I have. Okay, we will go on to our recognition, or I'm sorry, communications to the Board of Trustees.
None this evening.
Okay. All right, and then we'll go on to recognitions. Do we have any items for recognition?
Absolutely. We've got some really fun ones tonight. So this evening, I'm really proud to invite Dr. SMUHSD to the podium to talk about, our AVID program and our AVID senior standouts, talk a little bit about the program as well as some of our senior standouts. I know they're here tonight. Really exciting. We have a presentation. There's a little bit of a background on the board agenda, but with that, I want to hand it off to Dr. SMUHSD. Thanks.
Thank you. I think you all know that this is literally one of the best presentations every year, because we get to celebrate some really, really amazing students and their families. They really reflect what AVID is all about. I'm going to hand it off to our amazing coordinators who really, I get to stand here and start, but they're the ones doing all the work on the ground with all the teachers to introduce and celebrate these outstanding and inspirational seniors. I know Tiffany Chiaro is on Zoom. So if we can promote her, I'm going to invite AJ Cruz Parada up first.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Hi, good evening, President Andrade Zuniga, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Booker, district leadership, and everyone in attendance. My name is Tiffany Chiaro, and I am the senior AVID teacher at Aragon High School. I apologize, I'm unable to present in person today. Aragon senior standout, AJ Cruz Parada, stood out even from ninth grade on Zoom. He was always a student who was fully engaged, one of the few with his camera on, who routinely asked thoughtful questions, fully committed to AVID and his strategies for student success, even participating in all of our silly team building, like dancing or playing charades or trying to avoid detection as a sus imposter in Among Us. Academically, he has, as one teacher said, quote, an insatiable thirst for knowledge and experience and a deep respect for learning. His desire to take advantage of every learning opportunity has exhibited itself in his 4-year commitment to AVID, his high GPA, his rigorous course load, taking advanced dual enrollment and AP classes, and his status as a rising star scholar and students rising above. And personally, he is one of the most empathetic, genuine, sincere students I've ever had the pleasure of teaching. He cares deeply about his community, as evidenced by his involvement with the Student Equity Council. He cares deeply about his family by providing for them. He cares deeply about his teachers by checking in with them and even sending them food when he sees that they are struggling. He sees the best in everyone. And as another teacher said, he is, quote, the epitome of dignity, quiet grace, and strength. Despite his struggles, coming from a low-income single-parent household, having to provide for his family through his part-time job, navigating the world as a member of a marginalized group, and helping his mother, who has been on disability and during her most difficult time, unable to move without pain, helping her out of bed, bathing her, painting her nails. Despite it all, AJ has persevered, and I can say with confidence, his resilience, intelligence, integrity, compassion, and beauty are unparalleled. AJ has the biggest heart, the biggest smile, the best hair. And in the fall, I see the campus of Seattle University with a full ride. AJ is,
Yeah.
AJ is, AJ is without a doubt a standout senior and an upstanding human with a quote, gentle demeanor, belying a fierce determination that embodies all that AVID students and all of us should strive to be. AJ, I am so proud of you. Your Aragon and AVID family are so proud of you, and we have no doubt you will continue to be a force of profound good in the world.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I do just want to thank you absolutely for being my mentor all 4 years of high school. I really couldn't have done basically all the success that I've been able to achieve without you and without your support and without you having there to just stand with me and also be my voice whenever I needed it. So thank you. I also do want to thank my mom. She's taught me, sorry, I'm a little surprised. She's taught me to be very resilient and very persistent on what I want to achieve. And she's always taught me to value education. So everything I have achieved is just to make sure that we are successful as best as we can be. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you all for making this possible and for making my dreams also come true. Thank you.
Amazing.
I'd like to introduce Michael Zozos, who is the AVID coordinator from Burlingame High School with his student standout, Diana Chavez.
Good evening, President Andrade Zuniga, members of the board, Superintendent Booker, District Cabinet. Tonight, we gather to celebrate the embodiment of the AVID spirit, and it is with great honor that I stand before you to recognize Diana Chavez as this year's BHS AVID Senior Standout. Excuse me. As a first-generation student
Diana's journey at BHS has been one marked by perseverance, dedication, and an unyielding commitment to her goals. Over the past 3 years, she has exemplified the very essence of what it means to be an avid student, demonstrating academic excellence while taking on a variety of leadership roles within our BHS Avid family. With a cumulative GPA of 3.64, Diana has proven herself to be a standout scholar. In addition to her academic pursuits, Diana has shown a deep sense of compassion and community involvement at BHS. As the founder and president of the Self-Love Club, she has created a safe space for her peers to cultivate self-acceptance and empowerment. Her dedication to uplifting others is truly commendable and reflects her genuine desire to make a positive impact in the lives of those around her. Despite the demands of her studies, Diana has also managed to juggle part-time work and community service, demonstrating her focus on both personal and academic growth. What sets Diana apart is her entrepreneurial spirit and her desire to be an innovator. She dreams of one day becoming a real estate agent, specializing in helping people find their forever homes. With her exceptional interpersonal skills and keen eye for detail, she's poised to excel in this dynamic field. For Diana, real estate won't just be about buying and selling property. It will be about making a meaningful impact on the lives of her clients and fostering lasting connections with her community. Diana, your ambition serves as an inspiration to us all, and your willingness to dream big reminds us that with hard work, grit, perseverance, and a little individual determination, anything is possible. Diana will be attending the College of San Mateo, majoring in business in the fall.
Great.
Now I'd like to invite Alan Monolo, who is the Avid coordinator and senior teacher at Cappuccino High School, and Kimberly Avalos, their senior standout.
Hello, everyone. I chose Kimberly Avalos as our senior standout. I would like you to look at her 2.85 weighted GPA and then look at her 4.0 senior year fall GPA. Kimberly Avalos exemplifies achievement via individual determination. I had Kim as an English student for her first 2 years, and then I had her as her avid I was her avid teacher for her junior and senior year. The student that I had as an English teacher was not the student that I had as an avid teacher. As a teacher, I would love to take credit for the steps that Kim took as a student, but this was all individual determination. What Kim has been able to achieve has been all through her own individual determination. If you see that fourth bullet point, Kim is a 3-year varsity soccer player. She took her junior year off to focus on academics and really center herself because she knew what she wanted to achieve moving forward. Kim was admitted to San Francisco State University as well as San Jose State University, and Kim will be attending College of San Mateo in the fall to pursue her real estate license.
Great.
Hey. And San Mateo High School, I'd like to introduce Nancy Dingus, our Avid coordinator there, Alicia Gorgiani and Alfonso Duenas, our senior Avid teachers, and Giovanni Zuniga Hernandez.
We all won't talk long, I promise. Thank you, everybody, for having us here. As you can tell, Gio has honestly touched all of our lives. So I had the privilege, I'm Nancy Dingus, by the way. I had the privilege of teaching him his first 2 years. I think I had you in math and Avid Zoom. And he was just special. Only kid on Zoom that I saw his face, saw him change his brother's diapers during Zoom. He just messaged me and be like, "Miss Dingus, I have to change my brother's diapers," or he had to do this. And I just knew there was something special about him. And sophomore year came and he did exactly what I thought he would do, surpassed it. And so I love him so much, even though I don't see him very often anymore, but I am extremely proud of the human being he is. And as they talk more about it, how he got involved as he got older, but I just wanted to speak it now and just say how proud of you I am.
Hello, members of the school board, president. I'm Alicia Gorgani, teacher at San Mateo High School, and I've had the honor of working with Gio for the last 2 years as his avid teacher. The fact that Gio wants to be an educator gives me hope for this world. I hope someday he applies to work with us because he's phenomenal, and I know he will be phenomenal even more in a few years. Not only is Gio an amazing academic who was accepted to UC Berkeley and will likely attend there at zero cost due to scholarships. Despite just that alone is phenomenal, but Gio does everything. He's the captain of the color guard team. He he was the goalie for the soccer team this year. He has participated in Grupo Folclórico. Mr. Duenas is the advisor for that club. I remembered recently when I saw Gio dancing at Matteo Motion that a little more than a year ago, when some of my soon-to-be seniors were saying, "Oh, Miss Gorgani, why can't I just take 5 classes senior year and, take it easy?" Gio was like, "Miss Gorgani, I have a space in my class, in my load. I'm gonna take intro to dance." And there he was in the Matteo Motion up front, an intro to dance, smiling and just amazing. As Miss Dingus mentioned, Gio is also dedicated wholeheartedly to his family. He makes us all proud at San Mateo High School. We could not have chosen a more deserving student amongst many deserving students. And so it's with pride we've chosen him for our avid seniors standout. Thank you so much. And we love you.
Alfonso Dueñas, avid teacher, English teacher at San Mateo High School, also a Grupo Folclórico advisor. While I've never had Gio in my classroom, I have seen him in the community as an advisor. I've really appreciated his efforts. He has played an integral part for Grupo Folclórico San Mateo High School, and I really wish you the best. And I just know that you're going to keep doing great work, and we're all proud of you. Keep that going.
Oh. Gosh, you guys, talk about bringing out the waterwood.
I know.
Oh, my
I told
goodness.
you. Told you. We're going to share a few highlights from the year, avid activities, and we'll talk a little bit about other students like the amazing ones you saw tonight. So I'm going to ask the avid coordinators to join me because they run all the activities. I just find the money for them.
Yeah. No, the one before. Yeah.
There you go.
So I'd like to call your attention to the first picture in the upper left corner. That is our avid junior, sophomore, and some of our freshman students who are visiting Santa Clara University. We try to have at least one field trip each semester. This year we actually just doubled up in the spring. And it's just really important for students. For most of our students, this is the first time they set foot on a college campus. And as many of you know, there's nothing like that moment where you set foot on a college campus for the first time. In the lower left-hand corner, that's an example of some of the community building activities that we do in AVID. For an AVID class to be successful, having a strong sense of community is incredibly important. Being able to support each other when people are down and also celebrate each other's wins is incredibly important. And that starts with the community building. And finally, on the right, you'll see the AVID college tabling event that we do. This is typically done by the junior class where students will research different colleges and they'll conduct a college fair for their fellow juniors where they'll come into the library and learn about different colleges in an effort to kind of bring awareness to their different options as they head into senior year.
Hi, I'm Alejandra Cheever. I'm teach Avid at Aragon High School. I'm just stepping in right now for Tiffany Chiara and Courtney Caldwell. So this year, I mean, we have our fall college field trip, which we have every year in the fall. We visited Sacramento State and UC Davis. The students had a great time. It was a long day and it was very hot that day, but they really enjoyed being able to go and see colleges that are a little bit further out of the Bay Area. We also did our Avid SoCal field trip with our sophomores and juniors. We took them to UC Merced. Well, this year was Central Coast, so it was UC Merced, Fresno State, UC Santa Barbara, and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And so you can see a picture there on the slide with the M. That's at UC Merced. And then you also see some pictures there of our and our fall field trip is at the bottom, UC Davis. And then also some of our community building activities. So we every 6 weeks we have award celebration to celebrate students who have turned in their focus notes and done that really well, who are tutorial standouts, we have students vote on the family award for their peers, somebody that really helps to connect our classes. And we also get all 4 grades together at that time and have a big community building activity with all 4 Avid classes. So it's nice because since we do have a cohort model, it's nice that I'm able to interact with the other grade levels when we do our all Avid team building activities. It's really special. So you can see some of those examples from our all Avid team building days in the videos and the pictures that are there. Thank you.
So there's so much great things that we can say about Avid, but I think my colleagues have mentioned it before, is that camaraderie, that team building, that sense of family, that sense of community, right? So not only are students, but they are part of our family. They are extended family for us. And so our job is to help support them, help them grow, help them achieve. You can see there's lots of different things that we do all throughout the year to build that sense of unity and camaraderie. Because again, for students to be able to take those academic risks, for them to put themselves out there and say, hey, I'm not quite sure. I don't quite get this. Let's work together. Let's brainstorm. Let's problem solve, right? That definitely takes trust in their fellow classmates, trust in us as teachers, to make sure that they're headed in that right direction. And so from the very beginning with the freshmen, we take them on a ropes course experience. Obviously, we do lots and lots of field trips. You can see on the far right side, the Avid seniors took it upon themselves to teach the Avid sophomores how to make slime. And I said, well, if we're going to make slime, we need to make it academic. And so they researched the right recipes. They helped me kind of budget out what it would cost. Right, we did the whole thing. They lesson planned, they practiced, right? We went through the whole gamut as if they were teaching, right? Because there's a teachable moment for them and a teachable moment for students. But the most important thing that I can think that Avid does is provide opportunity and access, especially around exposure to colleges. And Alan mentioned it before, right? That transformational power of stepping on campus. And I can just give you one example of a Burlingame student. She was accepted at a couple of different CSUs this year. And was deciding between one or the other. And one of those was Chico State. That happened to be a campus we were visiting this year. And as soon as she stepped foot on campus, she could see and imagine herself there. And she said, this is it, I'm done. I figured it out, right? And without Avid, I'm not sure if that student would have made that decision, and not sure if that student would have made the right decision for her in that moment. And so again, the opportunity that we provide students is super invaluable. And so again, we appreciate your support, appreciate Dr. Showman's support. And I also want to recognize Ms. Gibson, one of our assistant principals. We have a tremendous support team in our admin team at BHS. And so again, want to recognize them and thank you very much.
Ditto. No, just kidding. They've said everything, so I have nothing really more to say. This is San Mateo High School. I actually wanted to take this opportunity to thank the students. I'm gonna cry now. Frida's over there, but you guys make it worth it. And the stuff doing this and presenting them and seeing the success. And I know sometimes we do things in class that you're like, why is this teacher doing this? But there's always a reason. And all of you have bought into Avid and you understand it. And I personally want to thank you, and from the San Mateo Union High School District, like we all thank you students for your hard work. Like you guys make it totally worth it. So we appreciate it. So, and thank you board for letting us talk this long. So one of the last things, so we are going to talk a little bit more, sorry, that we did this year, which I hope we can bring more people. I invite all of you to this next year. I don't know if it'll be at Modesto, but we went to Modesto High School. There were about, I'd say 8, 9 teachers, counselors, and we had an admin. Very similar demographics to some of our schools. It was one of the best just professional developments for us, just to observe. It's a demonstration site. You can just feel Avid. We went into multiple classrooms and there was just Avid strategies in every single class. Like we went into a calculus class and there was an Avid strategy there, history, Avid strategy. And so what they kept telling us was, it's just good teaching. It's good teaching. And all of their teachers, I mean, maybe 95% are, they've gone to Summer Institute and they're all trained, and you can just feel the presence of Avid, and they're an IB school when you stepped foot. So we hope to continue to learn from them, ask questions. I mean, in their library, they had an Avid room where they were able to do study hall and their tutorials. It just amazed me. All of us, we talked the whole way back about how we strive to be like that. So again, I will let you know when we go, so you are totally welcome to go. So thank you.
Thank you to all of our coordinators, our students and their families, the admin that support this program. And one of the reasons I wanted coordinators and counselors and admin to go on this demo visit is so that we can continue to grow our Avid program in our district. I want to share a little bit about who we're serving and highlight how Avid serves our district's equity mission and work to support our students who come from households where maybe no parents or one parent may have had some higher education, low socioeconomic, multilingual learners. So you can see the number by grade level. And then you can see, this is our senior data over time, right? The last 5 or 6 years. And you can see all of our Avid seniors across the district graduated on time. You can see the number who are completing A to G requirements, the number or percent of our Avid students across the district who are on free and reduced lunch, the percent that are multilingual learners. And you can see over the last 2 years how we've increased the number of multilingual learners we're serving in Avid, and then parents with college. So you can do the math and figure out the number without. I'm really excited that we are at least expanding at one site next year. Cappuccino High School will have 5 sections of Avid. We are super excited to grow the program there. And they're doing it to expand and serve more kids, to serve their multilingual learners. So I really want to commend the Avid coordinators, the admin team, the counselors there for working to grow that program. We haven't had to have 5 sections at Cappuccino for a long time. And then lastly, you can see, our demographic data over time. Between the last slide and this slide, you can see Avid is a program in our district that is closing the opportunity gap. It's being responsive to our multilingual learners, our BIPOC students, our low SES students. So I just want to thank everyone that's involved, including the board. I know everyone here has always been Avid advocates, and that's why we can do the work. And we do the senior standouts. There's lots of standouts at every grade level, so you can see what the program yields. So thank you so much. And thank you, coordinators, for holding it down. And thank you, students, for continuing to inspire us and show us why we do this and have Avid in our district. Thank you.
Okay, I will open it up for trustee comments and questions. Trustee Land.
So I'm so inspired that Burlingame Intermediate School is going to be opening their first AVID class, thanks to Mr. Zozos and several of you who have helped me out. So I am that inspired by you that we are going to do it at middle school now. So we're going to open one class and we're going to expand. So, hey, if I'm not, I believe it in that much. So I've heard this, the AVID seniors for years now, and have just been so motivated by this that hopefully now middle school will be able to get to enjoy it so that your programs will grow even more as you grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Trustee Griffin?
I want to congratulate the outstanding students and their family and their support network. You know, you guys, you did a great job. I'm a big supporter of AVID. I think I've talked about this before, where my granddaughter was in AVID, but she's in Southern California, but it really made a difference in her life and turned it totally around, grounded her, made her feel like she was part of, you know, a group, and gave her determination. So it's a good job. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Trustee Chavez? Excuse me, Trustee Chavez.
Thank you. I want to echo a lot of what was just said, so I won't restate it, but I do want to congratulate all the students, all the senior standouts that were here tonight. Congratulations, very, very impressive. And all of you spoke. You guys are just so amazing. I mean, I'm not doing it justice, but everybody in the program is a shout out. But the 4 standouts or 5 standouts that were here, amazing, and congratulations. And I want to say congratulations on the entire program. As Dr. Showman mentioned, just looking at the last slide, 100% graduation, 95 to 97% completed the ADG requirements for a UC CSU campus. I think that is amazing. When you look at our overall I always talk about the graduation rate. I think now correct me if I'm wrong, I think district-wide we're around 92%. But as we dig into the details and we look at Latino percentages, we look at multilingual learner percentages, it's not up there with the average, right? But to have this AVID, to have our AVID program pull numbers that are 100% and 95%, that is amazing. Our AVID program is working, and I want to thank everybody involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Jacobson?
Yeah, I'll just echo what the others have said about how impressed I am and how I just want to be all your guys' friends. You sound like really fun, cool people, aside from just being really driven and ambitious and hardworking. So thanks to all the teachers. It's obvious that you have invested a lot in building these kids up and building these relationships and providing these opportunities. And these are really great numbers. I'm really happy to see these numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to read a quote by Kofi Annan. It's knowledge is power, information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society and every family. And I want to say thank you. And I'm just going to echo what everybody said. You know, the hard work that all of you put in, I mean, it's a testament to like your families, to who you are, your values. I'm so proud of you all. Like, I think every time we talk about our district, it's like we have an amazing district full of wonderful students and great educators. Thank you to everybody that contributes to AVID. And I also want to thank you, Dr. Showman, because you are the reason why a lot of this stuff came, you know, and so thank you, because you can tell. You can see, excuse me, you can see how much you love the kids and, you know, the district and what you push, gosh, every single day, super selfless job. And everybody, just thank you. This was amazing. Thank you. Do you want to say? Okay.
I'm just very proud of everybody. Very proud.
Yes. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Okay.
I think we should give hugs and go home. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, now we'll go on to our next item. Bridge awarded County District School. Yes. So go ahead. Oh gosh, I'm so tongue-tied. Superintendent Booker.
Thank you very much. And yeah, this is a really big deal, right? We're here tonight to celebrate and recognize that Bridge has officially become the 10th school in the San Mateo Union High School District, and it's a big deal. Yeah. So for the boring detail part, right? So on January 18th, the Board of Trustees took action and approved the district's request for the Bridge program to apply for a CDS code through the California Department of Education. And on March 8th, we were notified that the CDE approved our application, gave Bridge its own code as the 10th school in San Mateo Union High School District. This is truly, Bridge becoming its own school is such a grassroots effort. Dr. Shulman and I sat down this afternoon and talked. I think I did most of the talking, but talked a lot about the kind of school that she and her colleagues and fellow educators have created. It's an absolute blessing for our district. Having Bridge be our 10th school in the district says something about how this board and how this community, how this district values our multilingual learners and more specifically our newcomer students. It is a school that embodies heart. I shared today with Dr. Shulman that I come onto campus and I feel incredibly welcomed and cared for, and the care and love that educators have for students, that students have for educators, that students have for one another, it is tangible and palpable. You feel it and you see it every single time you walk onto campus. And that isn't done by happenstance. That is done through a protectiveness, I called it today in our conversation, a protectiveness that Dr. Shulman and her colleagues and fellow Bridge educators have around those students and that program. There's a fierceness around that protectiveness. And sometimes that can come out in our meetings. And Dr. Shulman, I'm letting you all know over on that side, she is fierce when it comes to her desires around this school. And I've learned from that fierceness, and I've become fierce about it as well. And I know this board has. We have big plans for Bridge moving into the future. I can tell you that, and we'll talk more about it as we come into the fall and winter and spring. But I am just so proud. I am so proud of what you have all accomplished, students, educators, Dr. Shulman, the board, district staff, colleagues across the district, to go from a small program that was partnered with Peninsula High School to become now its own school and what will grow into a community school to serve not only our students here, our newcomer students, but really the whole community is really amazing. And I'm just so proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up today. And congratulations to Bridge School. And I want to introduce Dr. Samia Shulman to say some things. Thank you.
If you haven't figured out yet, between Avid and this, I have the best job, right? Because I also get to do other things I love here. And I feel like I'm about to give an Oscar acceptance speech because I feel like we've just won one of the biggest prizes you can. And a lot of what I have to say are thank yous. But before I start with those, I wanted to quickly summarize how we got here and where we're dreaming about going for our community members who might not know too much about Bridge. Grounding ourselves through in Lakesh pedagogy, our mission is to support recently arrived newcomers in their academic and social development and healing. In Lakesh and humanizing pedagogy focuses on prioritizing our relationships and responsibility to one another in order to foster a supportive learning community. Our staff is dedicated to creating a safe and compassionate alternative educational space centered in love, hope, and justice in order to support the educational and personal goals of our students. The Bridge program serves recently arrived newcomer students entering our district as 11th and 12th graders, usually at ELD level 1 with few to no academic credits. This allows our staff to design educational experiences that specifically meet these particular students' needs. Take into account that they have gaps in their education and prepare them to be successful in their transitions after Bridge, whether that be to our adult school, college, career, or other path they choose. Although the majority of our students start with us at Bridge, we do have students who come to us from comprehensive sites for a variety of reasons, because a smaller alternative setting will meet their needs better. Our program started 7 years ago with about 20 students in one room, room 48. And today we're serving 80 students in 5 classrooms, including 3 teen parents and 2 expectant moms, and 26 students who will be graduating in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
We've transitioned from a small program without the potential of graduating students to becoming a school that is graduating students who never imagined they could earn a high school diploma here. And we're sending them off to community college, the adult school, or career paths, or the community with more education and resources than they started with. So we're excited to continue to work with the board, district leadership, and our community to grow Bridge into a full community school. Because a community school is a place and a set of partnerships between the school and other community resources. Its integrated focus on academics, health and social services, youth and community development, and community engagement leads to improved student learning, stronger families, and healthier communities. Community schools offer a personalized curriculum that emphasize real-world learning and problem solving, and these schools become the center of the community. I do have to take this opportunity to plug that if anyone that lives in our district community is interested in learning more about Bridge, volunteering, or supporting our mission and vision, please come visit us. We're in room 28 at the adult school, or reach out to me. And now for the gratitude. I have a lot, sorry. I know, I think you all know schools don't get built by one person, and I may be up here representing Bridge, which is an extreme honor, but I'm not Bridge. We're a collective community, as you can see here. Woo! That's built and upheld by the district community and the San Mateo community at large. So I'm going to start with Kevin Skelly, Don Scatena, Nina Fincy, Larry Teixeira, God bless his soul, and Tim Doyle. Because after getting, when I first got here, a newcomer task force report dropped in my lap on like day 2 of my role, I started to think about a way to make good on the recommendations of how to serve our older unaccompanied minors who also had interrupted formal education. So I had this crazy idea, and all those people I mentioned helped shape it, believe in it, and make room for it. I remember Nina coming into your cubicle and saying, I have this idea, but it's only going to work with you. And then the dream started. To the board, Robert, Greg, and Lihia, you all supported Bridge from its inception, showing the board's commitment to multilingual learners, and especially this most vulnerable population, and you continue to do that. Jen and Terry, as new board members, you showed your commitment as well when you came to visit Bridge when you first came onto the board and voted to make this moment happen. So thank you. We are very lucky to have a school board who is committed to educating all of its community members, regardless of country of origin or status. And as both an employee and a member who lives in this community, I am in deep appreciation. Superintendent Booker, Cabinet, you continue to believe in Bridge and support its growth and development. Thank you for believing in what we are doing, and thank you for believing in me, for creating this position, Principal of Bridge, for approving our application, and showing that when we say we're going to invest in our multilingual learners, we're actually going to do it. This is an investment in both our district and community and the district's mission and vision. It is not lost on me that I have worked for 2 superintendents that have seen my potential and nurtured and helped grow it, so thank you. To the Peninsula High School leadership and staff, we could not operate without you. Ron and Fred, thank you for accepting us as your own, for being inclusive and looking out for us. Elaine for building our master schedule all these years and being patient as I learned. Laura for cheering us on, and all of the Peninsula High School staff who always welcomed our students onto campus and cared about our school. Nora for answering mine and Lily's phone calls. Jessica, Jorge in the back over there, your support has been invaluable. And Billy, who keeps us whole in all of the ways. The adult school leadership and staff, thank you for sharing space with us, collaborating with us, and looking out for our students. Thank you for making the transition smooth when some of our students become your students. We could not operate without your cooperation and collaboration. Joanna Fight, Manager of Multilingual Programs. Thank you for coming and being excited about Bridge 2 and all of its possibilities, for being a thought partner in our move to becoming our own school and the personal support you've provided. And all the district departments who've been part of our journey, student services, referring students, telling them about our program, and helping me through all the things I needed these past 7 years. As I walked in their office over there, smile, they knew I was going to ask for something, and they were always super nice. Human resources in the business office, thank you for your patience and support as we learn all of the processes, whether it's completing PAFs, forms. And I want to thank April and Joanne, leaders of wellness. We started Bridge with a few hours of wellness, and it was people walking over from San Mateo High School. And now we have a full-time wellness counselor. So I appreciate them for seeing the need and supporting it. I also want to thank my administrative colleagues, all the APs and principals for their help in answering questions, supporting my first year as being a principal. Their enthusiasm about our program and now school helped validate our mission and vision, and the giving of your time when I needed it is appreciated. Additionally, I want to thank every person I've ever worked with inside the multilingual learner programs and outside, for your personal and professional support and believing in Bridge and what we're trying to accomplish, and seeing the intersections, whether it's with AVID, ethnic studies, self and social empowerment. Araceli Guizar and Elsa Polito. District staff that have always supported Bridge and continue to while we develop and add more staff. And your support is always invaluable. And although I know you spend most of your time in this building, we consider you part of our team. And now to our staff. There are no words or anything I can say that would appropriately capture the love, admiration, respect, and appreciation I have for the way you all, and I mean every single person on our campus that works with our students, show up for our students each other every day. You are the ones that have made this moment possible. You are the forefront of this program, and you are also the future of this program. You all embody in Lakesh. Lily and Elizabeth, I want to highlight how special you have been this year. At most schools, you don't see kids hanging out in the office voluntarily or actually coming there because it is the safe space on campus. But at Bridge, this is the norm. They come in, they look at, we all share office. They come in and they look at me and they're like, Miss Lily. And I'll be like, she's Miss Elizabeth. I aspire for them to walk in when I'm not there and say, Miss Sherman. So thank you for creating this space and holding it down, especially for holding me up personally this year. Thank you to Carlos Hagedorn for working with our staff for the past 2 years. That's our consultant, and hopefully more to come. Teaching us what creating an in-Lakesh community looks like, feels like, and operates like in action. For being a partner in this work and instilling in us the value and yield of hard work. And lastly, my biggest thank you is to our students and their families and caregivers. To our families and caregivers, trusting people with your child or a loved one or a young person whose family entrusted you to care for them is the biggest form of in-Lakesh you can practice. We will always do our best to serve your students. And to our students, you are the meaning of our logo: love, hope, and justice. It's a blessing to be in community with you every day, to see you persist through life's challenges with a smile, a laugh, and sometimes tears. Thank you for living up to the values of In Lakesh. Thank you for showing up for yourselves, for each other, and for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to open it up to board comments or questions. You as well, our student board reps. If there's something you'd like to say. Trustee Land?
Sorry. I just got on the board right around the time that this idea, this seed was sparked. And I still remember it at a board meeting where Superintendent Skelly started saying, I have this person here who has an idea and I really want to promote this and we want experiences. And he kept talking about, we got to give experiences to newcomers and let them see different things and try different things and explore. And that was the seed. And I still remember that day. So this journey is very important and you all come so far. And this is just amazing to see where it's become, this community. And it's amazing. And I'm just so proud that I can be even a little bit a part of it in just saying, hey, this is something we need at our school district and for our kids. The one thing I am going to say is I'm going to talk from a board perspective where when I first got on the board, one of the first things we talked about was this vision of schools shouldn't be just one kind of thing, one kind of experience. Kids learn in different ways, students learn in different ways, and we have to explore that, whether it's middle college or peninsula continuation or whatever we have within the IB program or whatever we have. And we kept saying as a board that we need to have these different types of experiences. And this seed and this very important bridge school now is like the culmination of the dream that the board has had for years. And it just is a testament to you, Dr. Showman. It's incredible. And the growth and the community that's been created. So I'm just privileged to be a part of this exploration of diversity and growth for our students and to have a school that's so special. So congratulations, everyone. This is special. Thank you.
Trustee Griffin?
You know, Ms. Chalkley, I hope we get the front page of the Daily Journal.
Yeah.
I mean, this deserves it.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I want to recognize, you know, when you have a really outstanding leader, they do a really good job of recognizing the team. And Dr. Showman, you really did a good job.
Yeah.
You know, there's some great people you worked with, but I think it really was your drive and your determination that brought this to fruition. And this is probably, in looking at how we maximize potential for all the students, this is probably the biggest thing we've done for newcomers and English learners, and the board, we used to live in this world where we wanted this super big, humongous change, like we were gonna just, start the revolution. But we just didn't, we were looking the wrong direction. We just weren't getting it. And I think you were getting it. I have to recognize all the superintendents I've worked with, and certainly the current one who also got it and who supported you. So I really appreciate your effort. I appreciate it was a team effort. So, and one of the things, I hate to say this because I probably, your speech was better than probably all the speeches in 28 years I've heard and graduations and everything. But, you need to be careful. What is it? Of whom much is given, much is expected. And I have no doubt that you will fulfill that trite saying there. So thank you.
That's great. Trustee Trustee Chavez.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do agree with Trustee Griffin about your speech, Dr. Showman being better than any of the graduation speeches, but I think it's also better than any of the Oscar speeches. So that I will go 3 steps up. It was excellent, wonderful, heartfelt. I wanted to say a couple of things. As Dr. Showman mentioned, which when Trustee Jacobson and myself were first honored to be elected to the school board. We toured the bridge program and we felt welcomed. I know I'll let you speak because I'm like we. I felt welcomed and I saw the uniqueness. I saw students right there in front of me learning and the staff support, incredible staff support. And I know that I carry my personal. I only have one phone, my personal phone. I have the bridge program sticker, and a lot of times folks ask me, "Hey, what's that?" And I explain it, and I said, "Dr. Showman, the stickers. Do we have any new stickers? You know?" But the next sticker was a little bit bigger, so I went ahead and put that on my laptop. I have one sticker. It's on my laptop, right? The bridge program. But now I think we need to have new stickers that say the bridge school, right? Can I get an amen on that? So I think it's very I think it's very monumental to have the bridge program become the bridge school. I think convincing this board here, I don't think that's challenging because the whole program is amazing because of you, Dr. Showman. But I was waiting for the CDE, the California Department of Education, to approve it, and for them to approve it, that's what I say, monumental. And I want to thank staff. This is beyond huge. I'm just very proud of our district for having the bridge school. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Jacobson?
This is a great day. It really is. I'm so happy to congratulate all of you. And it was a wonderful speech. I have to write a graduation speech. Maybe I'm going to get some tips, but just like Trustee Chavez said, when we first visited the program, the school, I mean, every school in our district has its own vibe and its own something, special sauce, but Bridge is different from them all. It goes so much deeper on an individual level with each student, knowing who these kids are, where they're coming from, what's going on in their lives outside of school. It's just a level of intimacy and compassion that goes beyond anything I've ever seen in a school before. It's really, really special. And the outcomes are amazing because of it. And I'm really hopeful that we can get you guys a better space.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
I forgot one more thing, and I know that podium's in the way, Dr. Showman. I wanted to add, I forgot to mention that when I was attending the graduation celebration here last year in the district office, this room was turned into a party scene, but for the graduates from the bridge program. I felt like every student, you made sure, and your staff, your wonderful staff made sure every student felt special and their families were there. This is where I wish I was a bilingual, multilingual person, but I'm not, and I want to have so much more dialogue. But I wanted to say I was so honored to have been invited to that, and it was just so special. Each student felt unique, felt special, and staff. It's just like everybody wrapped their arms around each individual student, which that's a day-to-day activity at Bridge. I think every student feels really comfortable going to school, and they feel the compassion there. But also I wanted to mention about how wonderful the graduation ceremony was, and the families, they felt embraced as well. So I wanted to throw that in there. I did, sorry for taking more time.
That's
Thank you.
okay. I'm going to take one more minute too. Like when I look at Bridge and like the relationships that exist there and the level of care, it's like it's hard to believe that this is a public school.
Yeah.
Like the level of service that is rendered, it's like a private school. This is really high level, high quality education happening here and community. It's just really remarkable.
Ours is higher quality than private.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there.
Okay. All right, we're done over here. Your turn.
Okay. Did you all want to say anything, or student board reps?
Well, I mean, I think everything that needed to be said has already been said. Well, I mean, yeah, I just find amazing how it is that this district, it just seems like we're in another level where they don't just look at the numbers, but at the students as a person. They really look at their needs, and the Breach School is just one of the many examples that make me really proud to be where I am right now. So yeah, just that. Thank you. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for hearing us, and thank you for caring about us.
Yeah, I also want to like congrats to for like program becoming to Bridge schools, and like seeing like how San Mateo Union High School District becoming bigger is like really a strong thing. So yeah, I really want to congrats to it.
Thank you. You know, I think about the struggles that people have coming to a completely new place, especially a new country, to learn not only a language, but a culture, where it's not always, you know, peaches and rainbows, you know, sometimes it's very hard. But what you all have done with Bridge is provided family and provided that compassion and that support. So that void gets a little bit less large than it was. A lot of our students experience a lot of things that not every student will experience. And this definitely helps in building up again the confidence, building up again the love, and knowing that there's a home here. So thank you for everything that you all do for our students and for their families. And just, you know, it's true, like you send your kids to school to be supported and educated by someone else other than yourself, you know, and that's a lot. And especially when your kids are going to another country, that's a lot, you know, but what's beautiful is that they come here and they're welcomed and they're taken care of. And I don't know, when I first started on the board, I was blown away by this. I didn't even know that we had this in our district, and my kids went to this, were graduates from this district. I think about my cousins when they first came from Guatemala, and I wish that they would have been welcomed in a program like this. And how many people have struggled and have felt othered and without a program like this? And this needs to be replicated. This can't be it, you know? And so I am just so proud. Thank you, everyone, for everything you do. And I want our district to be a model. I want people to look at our district and see the love and compassion that we have for each other and the community that we build. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to open it up to public comment. If there's anybody online or in person.
I have no requests.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We can go on to the consent agenda.
Congratulations again.
Yes,
Yes,
congratulations. Yes, and I really do hope that this is on the front page. I agree. Okay. Does anybody wish to pull an item?
I'll move I was gonna move adoption, but we don't have to entertain. We
This is
do.
for consent, I think what you were talking about.
Yeah, for consent.
Consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was moving
Yeah.
for
And-
adoption.
And I'll second that motion.
What, does anybody want to pull anything though?
Actually, point of order. Did we approve the agenda? I don't.
Yeah.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm losing my mind. Okay,
We added the moment of silence to the agenda.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the
now that's what confused me. Okay. Well, Motion and second, yeah.
We have a motion.
Motion and second. Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Griffin and a second by trustee Land. All in favor?
Chavez.
Chavez.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, trustee. So we have a motion by trustee Griffin, a second by trustee Chavez. All in favor?
Aye.
And our student board representatives, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, now we'll go on to.
Sorry, I'm getting you there. Sorry.
That's okay. The regular reports. We have report from the superintendent. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So, as a part of the bridge celebration, the Avid celebration, none of this happens without our educators. And as we all know, this is Educator Appreciation Month, the month of May. And you'll remember the proclamation we all approved at our last meeting, which was read by two of our amazing student board reps. That was just so special. We chose to recognize May as Educator Appreciation Month because of how we see all of our staff members as educators. So I'm so thankful to the board and this community that recognizes our educators with such high esteem, regardless of a person's title or role in the district. All of our employees are educators charged with really an amazingly awesome responsibility and privilege to inspire and nurture and teach our students so that they may achieve their best possible personal outcomes. Teacher Appreciation Week is May 6th through 10th this year, Classified Employee Week, May 19th through the 25th. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of my colleagues, my fellow educators in everything that they do, acknowledging all their hard work and the countless hours, their dedication and inspiration, and how much they accomplish to improve the experiences of students. So thank you so much, really, thank you. The only other announcement I really have is just a reminder, and we'll do this at the very end of the meeting, but maybe people are watching now. We do have a board study session on artificial intelligence on May 16th. It'll be in here 5 to 7 p.m. This is going to be an opportunity to begin the conversation about policy guidance related to artificial intelligence tools. These platforms represent a significant evolution in educational technology, offering real opportunities for enhanced learning and efficiency, but at the same time also presenting unique challenges that require, I think, careful management, careful thought, and ethical consideration. I want to thank ahead of time all my colleagues and educators that are preparing for this. This is kind of an interesting study session to prepare for because no one's really an expert on this yet. And I have a feeling we will be bringing policy to the board to approve come fall, winter. And so I want to get the board and our community to start thinking about some of these issues. So people can attend in public, Zoom, all those kinds of things. And I'm really looking forward to it, 5 to 7 p.m., May 16th in here. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, student board reps, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm Hiroki representing Hillsdale High School. And I think she mentioned, but we had a night moves, which was wonderful. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but I really heard great stories about the night moves and like how people have spent a lot of times in practices to make it happen. And last week we had environmental week, like a whole week dedicated to like show like how to reduce human waste and like how to do more like recycling to like reduce more human waste. And we did like lunch activities. Oh, that's like hosted by Environmental Club. And there's like a advisory presentation, like research that we did for like environmental and like how to conserve energy, which was great. And for tomorrow, we actually have a Kent Award. I think Mr. like Booker mentioned about it, but yeah, I think we want to appreciate about like these like thing was like us like our like student board wasn't able to happen. Like if you guys aren't able to like make this happen and like prepare for it. So I want to appreciate like the district and like board of trustees and everyone for making this to happen. Thank you.
Similarly to Hillsdale High School, we also had Mario Motion, the 20th. It was wonderful just to see how there was so much variety. I think the show in general really showed the type of school San Mateo is. I just fell in love with it. We had our folklorico team in there. We had our K-pop club, our Bollywood club, plus all the dance classes. It was just so emotional for me, and especially I took my little cousins with me and my sister. Just seeing the admiration in which they saw the stage and everyone dancing was really inspiring me for me. We also similarly again to Hillsdale High School, as it was Earth Week and it was all environmental. Our school also did a waste competition, sorting. So they divided all of the waste bins in the school between the fourth grades, and whoever sorted it the best, they would get ice cream. We still don't know the results, but I'm hoping the senior one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I thought that was a very interesting way to inspire people to take more accountability of how they separate. Also we're in AP testing. Nothing new. Just surviving the end of the year. They're planning senior field day, May 17th, I think. And graduation is coming up. How scary.
Exciting. Thank you. Okay, now we are on report of the District Teachers Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, President Andrade Zuniga and members of the board and district cabinet. First, thank you, Superintendent Booker, for your comments regarding, sort of the season of educator appreciation weeks. It's always a good time to recognize the progresses that we've made and the contributions that have been delivered. It's also notable, as you say, that it's a lot of work and it's a lot of dedication. So appreciate your comments. Couple of recognitions, obviously Bridge, proud to be a part of a district where we are looking at, in this environment of some districts possibly closing schools, we're establishing new schools, and for all the right reasons. I commend Dr. Showman and all the folks who have worked towards this achievement, working with the teachers there and incorporating the representation for those teachers and making sure that they are all feeling like they are part of the district is something near and dear to our mission. Obviously, the Avid Senior Standouts, really glad, always a welcome, exciting time of year. One of the student board members mentioned AP testing and end of year, and I know I've mentioned that as well. It's always really great to recognize achievements that may be unsung, but also are significantly important and not to be overlooked. I mentioned the last time regarding the equity and dehumanizing language presentation, and I just want to reiterate, and if I sound like a broken record, I just want to reiterate that the work that has been done by the district is certainly commendable. I want to make sure that all stakeholders continue to be involved or are hopefully inquired to be involved on this important issue. We can't rest on any progress. Progress is good, but we can't rest on any progress. This is a work in progress, and it has to be something that we continue to strive for, if not perfection, at least the best that we can do for the members of our community. Unlike many other sectors in the business world, we have a constant influx of new products and new ideas, for lack of a better term. And I think it's really important that we establish criteria, we establish protocols, and we establish understandings that are acceptable and relevant to all of our employees. There's a new state bill 553, and it requires all workplaces to provide a plan for school safety. And there are some new, and our district does a really good job of providing training and providing support for workplace safety. But there are new requirements in terms of training for specifically for employees responding to workplace violence and a prevention plan. This is a mandatory subject in bargaining. It's somewhat of a business item here, but it's very important to understand that the law takes law takes effect on July 1st, 2024, and we really want to collaborate with the district in developing this plan and developing these protocols so that all staff, all educators in the district have the necessary training and the necessary protocols, and we're all on the same page. Finally, I'll take a point of personal privilege. I want to spend a moment to speak about one of our retirees who will be recognized this evening. Greg Quigley has devoted the past 34 years of his life to the students and teachers and families of the San Mateo Union High School District. Greg has been an outstanding teacher, a school leader, a district administrator, a principal of middle college, and most recently, one of our own PE teachers, an anchor of our program at Hillsdale High School. Greg is truly a coach in every sense of the meaning, not only inspiring some of our most eager and enthusiastic student athletes, but also employees, both teachers and support staff. Greg is thoughtful and genuinely compassionate whenever there's someone in a position of need. He's always real. Greg's experience and background have allowed him to jump into any conversation among educators, not only to participate, but also provide perspective or so-called sage advice. Greg Quigley has been an instrumental part of our district's progress, growth, and success. His tenure here will not be forgotten. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to a report of the CSEA 519 representative. Hello.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, well, I'd like to say hello to the student reps. I'd like to say hi to the cabinet. I'd like to say hi to the board. First of all, President Zuniga, I really appreciate the recognition for my staff. Mr. Leo Tialdi and Jose Cabeza do in fact work very hard to keep this place safe. So I do thank you for the acknowledgement of that. Getting on to union business, we've got our next round of negotiations Wednesday, May 15th. We anticipate a productive and cooperative meeting to address 3 more articles. We do look forward to getting those resolved. We have meetings scheduled in July as well to continue that. Last night we had our union meeting where we had our officers re-sworn in for their next term. We had a great time. We gathered at Blue Line Pizza in Burlingame. Really good pizza, really good time. We had a great turnout, a huge amount of staff were there. It was a great time, One issue that we have that keeps coming up at every board meeting is we need site reps for Aragon High School and Burlingame High School. So if you're out there and you'd like to help be a leader and advocate for yourself and your coworkers, please contact us. We'd love your help. I'd like to also acknowledge our March classified Golden Apple winners. Shin Soon, Jimmy, he's the maintenance and operations department. He's an electrician. And I'd like to read a nomination written by Carl Burnell, his foreman. He is a pleasure to work with and always brings a can-do attitude to every project or work order he works on. He maintains a steady and positive attitude, promotes cooperation and harmony within the San Mateo Union High School District, and is always happy to assist his colleagues in any way that he can. Jimmy always pays attention to details and produces high-quality work. I can always count on Jimmy to complete his work in a timely manner. He strives to find a better way to do things, and I'm always amazed at his creativity and resourcefulness. So congratulations to Jimmy, well earned. We had another classified Golden Apple winner, Vilma Sanchez, Instructional Assistant at Burlingame. Her nomination, written by Jennifer Vilfort. I am nominating Vilma for her exceptional dedication, unwavering commitment, and consistent excellence in her work. She goes above and beyond with helping the kids reach their goals and managing students' difficult behaviors. She has contributed to the overall success of the Bay Academy program. So congratulations to Vilma. That is all I have for this evening, and I thank you for your time. Good night.
Thank you. Now going on to the report of the San Mateo Adult School Teachers Association.
There is no report from the adult school this evening.
Okay, great. Thank you. Back to the agenda. Great. Now going on to special reports and appearances.
I think I'm going to just hand this off to Dr. Kemke.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Board President Andrade Zuniga, board members, all of us here tonight. It's with great pride to launch this presentation about our instructional framework. This has been the work of the district's instructional leadership team for the last 2 years, and the team will take the time to introduce themselves through the process of the presentation. So I'm going to hand it off now.
Good evening. My name is Liz Blackwell. I'm an education specialist at Cappuccino High School. And this is our team up here. So we, the ILT, were formed a little less than 2 years ago with the intention of ultimately creating an instructional framework. So we have done this in part by working with other teacher leaders and administrators to engage in classroom visits that helped us to identify best practices within our own, within classrooms across the district. And with that information, we have identified themes that you will now see reflected in the framework related to culturally sustaining, humanizing, and anti-racist pedagogy that will be described in a little more detail later. And ultimately, we will be engaging our colleagues in professional learning aligned with this new framework in the next academic year and beyond. So I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Dan.
Good evening. My name is Dan Wexelgreen. I teach math at Cappuccino High School. So why do we want to develop an instructional framework? We want to increase student engagement and success across the district with a specific focus on BIPOC and historically oppressed student groups. We believe that a solid framework is necessary for building coherent instructional programs. The framework describes a shared vision for our students' educational experiences. It gives us a common language to use across our many sites and subject areas. The framework provides a guide for strategically aligning our systems, instructional experiences, professional learning, educational resources that are essential to eliminating disproportionate outcomes for our students. And finally, the framework implements actions that are outlined in the Racial Equity Board policy and administrative regulations, which Jessica will go further into.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Valera. I teach science at Bridge. And in the fall of 2021, SMUHSD launched the anti-racist school and community transformation work that you've heard about in previous presentations. Then in the winter of 2022, the SMUHSD school board developed and committed to a new set of policies and administrative regulations, the Racial Equity Board policy. This policy states that the board shall commit itself and the district to engage in anti-racist education at all levels. Anti-racist education includes, but is not limited to, educating staff and students about white privilege, white supremacy, and anti-Black racism. And with this commitment to an anti-racist education, let's take a moment to reflect on our own experiences. Board members and student board members, we invite you to recall a specific moment when you felt truly seen, heard, valued, or respected as a learner. I'll pass it to my colleague, Dan.
Hopefully you have your moment in mind since we've all been to school. I'm Dan Connolly. I'm a ELA educator at Cappuccino High School, proudly. As a team of educators, we're always centering and amplifying our powerful students' voices and their experiences and all the work that we do to guide us. So it's no different on this team. And we've actually compiled a short video. The Wi-Fi will hopefully catch up. Where we've interviewed over a dozen students, asking them that very same question. Recall a specific moment when you felt seen or heard or respected as a learner. And as we watch this short video, I'm going to ask you to kind of try to pay attention to two things. One, if you notice any patterns in their responses, and then two, if any of their responses resonate with your own experiences as a learner. Okay, so we'll just hold on to that.
I had to work a lot to support myself, and that meant that I'd always be working really late because I was night shift, waking up really early in the morning, and then usually I'd sleep through my first period class. I never really get the work done since I just fall asleep the whole time. So one day during class, I got there maybe 10 minutes late because I'd woken up late. And then when I'd gotten in there, she didn't mark me tardy, but she gave me a packet. And she said, this is everything you're gonna need for the next month or two. So you can just work on it and get ahead of it over time. And she put a lot of stuff into just generally to make it easier for me to understand. And I think that oftentimes I was seen as like lazy and not really trying. It just felt good to finally be considered, I guess.
In history, we had options. One of them was the Chicano youth movement. And that made me feel heard because usually it's not something that's talked about in school, and it's not something I would have known much about if it hadn't been for this class. And I just really appreciated it because I am like Chicana, and so it's nice to like learn a little bit about my culture.
Or letting students pick out like what they want to like do research on. I was able to write an essay exploring one of my favorite albums and like looking at existentialism within and being able to critique it, which is like super interesting. Even in biology, I was able to do an experiment based on like what interests me.
I would say I like when my teachers are like actually interested in like my life and like what I do. So for example, I'm a big sports guy. I like when my teachers are interested in like how I'm doing in sports or how the team's doing.
Sophomore to junior year, the stress just started building up and I was having a really hard time. So for a while I had an F in that class. Instead of like getting mad at me for not having like my stuff done on time, instead my teacher asked me like, I know you've been like a straight A student, like what's going on? Like how come you have an F in this class? Like, and I was telling him like, the IA is just a lot to get done. Like you really have to sit there for hours and work on it. And I just didn't have that time because I had family responsibilities and I had work. And so I would always be tired, and I would like, the time that I would work on it was when I was in class. So I didn't really have a lot of outside time to work on it.
The teachers feel like you are the best. They try to like teach you all that they know. They make you feel so proud of yourself. I've been like them for like 1.5 years, and that was my best 1.5 years that I have in school. I've been like so happy to be there before, and I just can say thank you to the teachers of Bridge.
I was really like drained this one day, and I was like at this point where I wanted to cry. You could see it in my face, like I was just done with everything. My teacher saw, and she started asking me questions like, are you okay and everything? Do you want to talk about it? And there was like this beanbag station where she said like, you can sit there if you want to. And I sat there, and then she came up to me and she asked me like, are you okay? And I said no. And she just started giving me a hug. Then that's when I started crying. I was just drained with my sister because she's special needs, and I just like, it's a lot of work. I love her with all my heart, but it is a lot of work. You know, there are just times where I just can't do it and I can't be everywhere at once. And I later talked to her about it, and she actually opened up to me and told me that she also had a brother who was special needs. To have like someone who relates to me is just really amazing.
Last year, we had a history teacher that connected like social justice issues like BLM or like other issues into like our curriculum.
For me, the biggest thing I would say is when teachers greet students. I feel like it sort of stems away from that, oh, that student is just a student.
Like last week, my mental health was bad. Most of my teachers gave me like extended my deadlines for homework assignments or projects, and it took a lot of stress off.
Mi maestra de español, la señora Cla, ha sido muy cariñosa conmigo. Siempre nos ayuda mucho con todo y también es como alguien que podemos confiar. Y para mí ha sido como una segunda mamá y siempre puedo contar todo y siempre me escuchan lo que tengo que decir y eso yo lo aprecio mucho.
In the morning sometimes I like cry. I try not to, but I do. He always checks up on me about like how I'm doing, and it feels like it's okay to like be vulnerable. I can cry whenever I want. I just feel that I can be like myself.
There was a student making harmful comments about my identity. I went to a teacher. They were very helpful, lent me their classroom when I needed it because I had classes with this person. They were like my support system and went with me to the office and to talk to people. I felt really seen because it was a lot to do on my own.
Thank you, Dan, for that moving video as a reminder of what inspired the creation of this framework and for whom we are creating one. Good evening. My name is Nina Fincy. I teach ELD at Bridge. As a team, ILT engaged in a collaborative effort that included all parts of our learning community. Because of the wisdom and power of student voice and experience has been and will continue to be our guiding light in this work, we engaged in student shadowing all across the district, where each of us get to spend a full day shadowing a multilingual learner in order to better understand the student experience. We also participated in over 130 classroom visits around the district across all content areas, looking for bright spots to inform the framework and inspire our descriptors and examples of what that could look like in a classroom. Our framework is also informed by the extensive readings and research on topics such as equity, anti-racism, student-centered instructional practices, adult learning principles, and dismantling white supremacy culture. You can see full list of sources linked to our slides. Finally, we engaged in the refinement and feedback process through dozens of focus groups with teachers, administrators, classified staff, students, and community members, all of whom contributed to the draft that you see in front of you today.
Good evening. My name is Molly Kovacs. I am a math teacher at Mills High School. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the kind of structure and setup of the framework. So the framework is based on 5 principles of humanizing pedagogy, and these are grounded in Carmen Del Salazar's research on humanizing pedagogy. There are the 5 principles, which are critical consciousness, the learner's reality, empowering learners, trusting and caring relationships, and relevant and meaningful content. Within each principle, we can see how it lives within our classrooms. And the way that it lives is through 4 dimensions, which we borrowed from the California Department of Education: environment, curriculum, instruction, and appraisal and feedback or assessment. So for members of our district community engaging with this framework, this setup allows us to zoom in on what we want to focus on within that framework. So for example, if I, as a math teacher, wanted to zoom in and focus on what relevant and meaningful content would look like in my classroom, I would be able to engage with the framework and be able to see it through that lens. Or if a student or community member wanted to see what does a positive learning environment look like in our district's classrooms, they could zoom in and focus on that. We can also start to think about how your reflections from earlier, as well as the student responses in the video, might live within and are connected to the different areas in our framework.
Thank you, Molly. My name is Alejandra Cheever, and I teach Avid and Spanish at Aragon High School. So as you take a closer look at each principle within the instructional framework, you will find a definition for each principle, a list of descriptors, and what it could look like in a classroom setting. The descriptors represent the conditions that are met in each dimension for a classroom or learning experience that is aligned with the principle. Within each dimension is a list of more detailed examples of what that descriptor could look like in a classroom setting or as an instructional practice. This is not a checklist, but rather a starting point of ideas generated from the bright spots that our team observed in our more than 100 classroom visits. As you think back to your reflection from your educational experience, are you able to make connections to the descriptor or to the look-fors that are listed here? Pass it to Marlo.
Thank you, LA. And as she asked you to reflect about your own experiences, we were hoping to make some parallels that you could see with all the wonderful student voice that you heard today and even beyond this presentation, that it reflects what we want to grow in our community and what we want all of our students to feel like. I think Lahia mentioned like the people that don't get seen or don't have programs, right? And so thinking about next steps, I also just do want to acknowledge, I'm just so proud and honored to stand here with my colleagues. It's just super amazing to be here at this point. 2 years ago, I started this and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But next steps, right? So now that we have this draft in front of you by this code-generated process, which is a huge feat, we know that we have to launch it. So our soft launch is going to be Summer PD, which all of you are welcome and invited to come on June 4th and 5th. We would love to see you there. It'll be hosted by us. We'll be facilitating many sessions on each of the principles. And so that's the immediacy, right? And so we do know that 2 days, it's not going to make us all experts in the framework, but it's a launching point to start to develop the common fluency that we want to be the air that we breathe as we talk about humanizing pedagogy and humanizing experiences within our district. So looking ahead even to 24-25, we know it's really integral to grow and support our TOSAs that are on site facilitating this work. And so we have definite plans on how to do that. And I'm going to welcome Sabby to kind of parallel that.
Thank you, Marlo. So in addition to making sure we're attending the capacity of our site teacher leaders, we also need to make sure that we are having congruent or parallel training with our administrators. One of the things we know that builds a strong program is when you have administrators who are instructional leaders at the site, who are knowledgeable about the shifts in instruction we're looking for, and that they're supporting the growth of the teacher leaders at their site as well to make sure the professional learning and the common language that's being developed is consistent. And we also know a very important piece of this journey is going to be making sure that our evaluation system is aligned with the instructional framework. And we have new California standards for the teaching profession that were officially approved in April by the Committee on Accreditation. And we were all thrilled to see that a lot of the language in the new CSTPs is very much in alignment with what we've developed in our instructional framework. And so we're looking forward to having an opportunity as we leverage the new CSTPs to make sure we're also incorporating elements of the instructional framework in that process. So we would like to thank you for your patience in our presentation and open it up to any questions that you might have.
Great. Thank you. Excellent, excellent presentation. I'll open it up to our board. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
I'd like to thank you for your presentations. Boy, that was really well coordinated.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you practiced that. You know, I read the, I don't know if it was the original handout or the treatise on an instructional framework. And I think I used the word dense. It was very dense in terms of for lay people to try to go through that, but I think you really did a good job of sort of demystifying a lot of what we're going to be doing here in the district. So good luck on that professional development. And, I'm sure, teachers are an independent lot, and I'm sure you'll need all the luck to get everybody to follow that. So, but anyway, I appreciate your presentation.
Anybody else? Yes, go ahead.
So we actually had like a opportunity like last month, where like we gave inputs about like our perspective and how it like matches our school system. So it was actually a great opportunity to like give our voices and we felt like our opinions matter. So we can really see that like this program was like really dense and like really neat. So it was really great.
Yeah, I would like to add up to that. Just I feel this meeting today in general has been really fulfilling as a student, where I've just seen everything that the district is doing, and I really appreciate it. But this program specifically that was just talked about, I know the other two that were recognized today, they are more of a concentrated way of addressing the issue. But what we talked about today, it was, for me, it was an idea that I deeply resonated with also when we had that meeting the last month. Because as a student who is very much, as many other students mentioned in the video, very busy outside of school, very stressed, first generation, underrepresented. This approach that was just presented, I feel like it really works. And as a lot of students showed again in the video, it's already being implemented in a way, but just bringing it back to the teachers again and saying, look, this is what the students need. This is what we observe. I think it's truly admirable. Thank you so much.
That's great. Thank you. Trustee Land?
I can't top that. So
I know, right?
But what I will say is what I really found enjoyable about this presentation was just the reflectiveness of it. It made me really reflect in myself and reflect what I do, what I think is important. The video was amazing because it really talked about how kids feel connected to the teachers and how important that is. Now, on a technical note, I really want to learn about the new CSTPs and what has changed, because I know CSTPs backwards and forwards because I have to do it for evaluations all the time. So what's new, and is there any way I can find out about it?
It's not secret, so I'm happy to send you a copy. And in the revised CSTPs, they actually provide kind of like a before and after, so you can actually see what's changed. And they're coming
Just
out.
send that to me.
Yes. Yep. So, and they're coming out with a new continuum of practice rubrics. Should be ready by the fall.
Okay.
So not related to this, but it's there.
But I think that's wonderful that you were tying it in because, how do I say it? What's the saying, if you don't test it, or if you don't look at it or you don't get feedback to it, it doesn't change anything. So having it as part of evaluation is important because that's truly then becomes the full circle. And, it's one of the 4 dimensions, feedback.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Chavez?
Thank you. This is such a collective collaboration. I mean, amazing team right here. Everything about this was amazing. Well, I want to call attention to one of the slides. It says verified fit you. That's great. That's not what I want to do. Well, the slide that says here, just recall a specific moment when you felt truly seen, heard, valued, or respected as a learner. And that really is important. That really resonates. One reason why I'm here on the school board is I recall most of the time not feeling seen, heard, valued, or respected as a learner. And I think that's really important. And I know everyone's heard me talk over and over again about, or you probably hear me talk all the time, but I meant about no student can learn when they're hungry. And I always talk about making sure we have hot lunches available and not running out. But equally, if not more importantly, no one is going to want to learn if they don't feel seen, heard, or valued, you know, and that's really important. I mean, that's obviously, I'm not doing it justice, but you all can articulate that much better than I can. But I want to say everything about tonight's presentation was amazing. The only question I have is, I don't know how Mr. Connolly got my daughter to be involved in the video because she's usually really shy. And usually I don't talk about my daughter, but she was there, so I guess I can now. So she did have a rough week, and I picked her up one day and she said, you know, and I think she braced herself for my reaction, but I'm driving, so she figured mom can't really react right now. She said, I have about 18 or 20 late assignments that are due. And I just was driving down El Camino from Cappuccino, and there's not a whole lot that I could say while I'm driving, but I just said, can you complete some of them? Take a step at a time. Oh, how much will you pay me to do that? Because teenagers is all about the money, right? Money speaks. $20. How many assignments will you do for $20? But I think in the video, she, you know, I didn't know she was gonna. She said that there'll be a surprise, but she wouldn't tell me what it was. And nobody on the district here would tell me about it. So, Mr. Connolly, you didn't give me a heads up. But I just want to know how. First of all, how'd you get her to be in the video? But I do think that sometimes, well, a lot of what we heard in the videos, students need support. There's a reason. Just like that student said, I was working, I was taking care of family. I'm not lazy, and a lot of folks might just think I'm lazy, and I'm not, you know. And what my daughter said in the video was, I had a rough week, and I talked to my teachers, and they let me turn the assignment in late. I don't know if she finished all 20, but I think she knocked a lot out the last 7 days, so that's great. But I just, this slide also resonates. I just want to thank you all for everything that you do, because students feel heard, they feel seen because of your team right here. Thank you. I don't want to cry, so I'm going to end this now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Trustee Jacobs, did you want to say?
Yeah, sure. This was a great presentation and very, as Trustee Griffin said, dense reading list and supplemental materials that you provided. I regret that I haven't been able to go through all of them, but I'm very interested in doing that. And I have a lot of questions, but I won't get too deep into that here. I did accompany some of you on classroom visits a couple of times, and I was really, that was a very eye-opening experience for me, because I mean, in high school, I had a handful of great teachers. Everybody has, you know, those one or two that are very memorable. But a lot of us, I think, in our generation, when we think of high school, we think of the Ferris Bueller teachers, where they, you know what I mean? You guys probably don't know what I mean. Anyway, they don't.
They're like, who?
But that's not what I saw in our classrooms. We have really engaging content, lively wall decorations, classroom discussions, multimedia. I remember one class, the kids, like we walked into the class and there was like hardly any kids in there because they were all outside working out, doing their work outside. So I think that's really great. We have definitely a lot of bright spots, and I'm glad that we're trying to spread those around the district and highlight those and replicate them where we can. And what I saw from the students in the video is that they really do feel seen and heard and understood and valued. That's really key. Just some things that some themes that I saw throughout the document, showing the effort to show multiple and diverse perspectives, and especially with representing BIPOC and historically marginalized groups. I didn't see on your reading list some authors that maybe are BIPOC people that weren't represented or maybe should be. People like maybe Thomas Sowell in our econ classes, or a Coleman Hughes, or a Glenn Laurie, or a John McWhorter. These are people who have written on the topics of race, but they maybe have they have a viewpoint diversity that isn't being represented. And so that's something that I feel very strongly about, is while we're looking for cultural diversity, we need to include viewpoint diversity. We just had Democracy Day at Hillsdale, and I think that was drilled in pretty well, is that, you know, I had one lesson on media consolidation and the problem in democracy when you're only receiving one viewpoint. So that's really important to me, and I want to make sure that that's happening. The other thing I just wanted to kind of dig into a little bit more, maybe not in this forum, but you can tackle it if you want to, is the idea of critical consciousness. One teacher that I spoke to about this, his critique of critical consciousness is that it's basically handing the students a specific critique of our society. And it didn't sit very well with me. So I'll just share that.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Excellent. In some of the texts that we received, what I really liked was, it said, humanizing pedagogy is an approach to teaching and learning that prioritizes the well-being, dignity, agency, and individuality of each student. It acknowledges and values students' diverse backgrounds, experiences, and identities, seeking to create learning environments that foster belonging, respect, and empathy. In essence, humanizing pedagogy aims to move away from impersonal or mechanical forms of education, and instead emphasizes authentic relationships, student voice, and the cultivation of a supportive community within the classroom. This approach recognizes that students are not merely recipients of knowledge, but active participants in their learning journeys, deserving of care, compassion, understanding, and affirmation. And when you said, you know, when you asked at what point in our upbringing we felt seen and heard as learners, what really embodied it was the student that talked about being Chicana. For so long, we've been given the same lessons. I never felt heard or seen growing up, because all of the history was the same. All of the, like, a lot of the English literature we would read was the same. There weren't any brown people there. As I got older and I acquired a disability, again, I don't see anybody with a disability in anything. So it cannot be cookie cutter all the time. We'll lose our kids. And so when I read that, I was like, this is like right on. I see my kids coming through this district, and they even credit what they've been doing in their lives now from what they've been learning here, and that they felt heard and seen. So that's just what I got from everything, was like, even with our staff, like, people need to feel heard and seen. There have to be examples of everybody, because it won't feel like home. So just thank you for highlighting a lot of this stuff and creating a safe space. Thank you for your work. I'm going to open it up for public comment. Anybody in person?
No requests.
How about online? Great. Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, we'll move on to Measure L, Construction and Planning Update. Mr. Hawkins.
I thought I could sneak that in there to plug in my laptop, but I was wrong. All right, I'd like to bring up Dr. Jose Santana, who leads our construction department, to give you a summer construction update. Most of the projects will be Measure L projects. but just be careful to note the projects, usually with an asterisk, that are funded by other sources, including deferred maintenance or RDA dollars. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Quintana. And we got a really exciting summer and next few years coming up. So I know the board will be excited to hear about it.
Thank you, Yancy. Appreciate that. I'd like to thank, first of all, our superintendent, Randall Booker, and board of trustees, President Ligia Andrade Zuniga, and our executive cabinet here. I just want to say that I couldn't have done this without your support, the support of our CBO, Yancy Hawkins, and as well as the Citizens Oversight Committee that have been not only involved and engaged in what our updates are, but really they're grasping and really embracing the fact that our campuses are shifting, they're evolving into a whole level in itself, college campus readiness. So we see this evident from today's reports, and so very proud of this. With me should be Michael Estrada from Greystone West, which is our program manager for the district. Hopefully he'll be graduating here soon. Yeah.
I might be able to do it.
So I've got the clicker here.
Yeah, we'll pull him up in a minute.
Okay, very well. Perfect. Okay. So our summit construction and planning update here is very exciting to not only present tonight, but there are just some things that are obviously coming to an end that we started last year. These are things that are Transite projects. So we're going to go over this in our projects in construction, projects starting construction this summer, 2024, June 3rd, and projects in design, Measure L financial summary. So projects in construction is our Aragon High School baseball and flex field, our Aragon High School switchgear, our Burlingame High School gym, our district-wide fire alarm replacement, our district-wide HVAC controls, and Hillsdale High School Transite, Mills High School switchgear replacement, and our San Mateo High School gym. Some of the asterisks here are not funded by our Measure L, but deferred maintenance. Our Aragon baseball and flex field, our construction vitals here, our Carducci and Associates, our architect, and our schematic design budget that was adopted is in 2024 is 8.26 million, and we are targeting 10,000 over that 8.36 million. Our schedule was June 2023 through January 2024, and our current projected schedule is running to June of 2024. Our switchgear replacement for Aragon High School, our architect is HED Design. Our schematic design budget was $863,000. We're still on target for that. Our schedule is from June of 2023 through January of 2024. And our current project schedule is for August of 2024 for completion. Burlingame High School gym replacement, exciting things happening here. Obviously, the site is excited to see so much going on here. QK is our architect, and our schematic design budget is 40.52 million. Current projected cost is at 40.52. Our schedule is May of 2023 through December of 2024. And our current projected schedule is fall of 2025. So this pad has been certified and we are moving forward. So it's exciting news about this project. This is our rendering, our schematic design for what it will look like once it's completed. We also have our district-wide fire alarm replacement. Our construction vitals here is architects HYA, and our schematic design budget is 14.52 million. Our current projected cost is 14.22. Our schedule is from June through September of 2024, and our projected schedule is February to September 2024. District-wide HVAC controllers. This is Capital Engineering, who's our architect of record, and our schematic design budget is 3.67 million. Current projected cost is 3.67. Schedule is June 2023 to September 2025, and current projected schedule is on schedule for September of 2025. These are projects that are currently happening after hours at all of our comprehensive sites. Hillsdale High School Transite. Our architect was HYA. Our schematic design budget was 20.98 million. And our current projected cost is a 19.47 million. So there's a savings there. Our schedules from June of 2022 through November of 2023. And current projected schedule is June 2022 through May of 2024. This is due to the landscaping. There was just some lead times, and so this is something that's coming to fruition. We're completing it now. Closeout documents are in hand. San Mateo High School new gym right behind us. Excited to have, the rooftop on there and start seeing some steel stud framing happening. Started today, so really excited to see it shaping up. Our architect's QKA and our schematic design budget is 22.58 million. Current projected costs are on target at 22.58. Our schedules from June of 2023 through January of 2025. Current project schedule is up to March of 2025. These delays are due to rains that we've had that have affected the projects both at Burlingame and at San Mateo. These are just some renderings here and an actual picture that's updated with our roof on there and starting some steel stud framing. Now, project starting this summer, June 3rd is our target date, and completion. Some of them are going to be completed August 5th, and some are going to be completed August 9th, request by the sites. But we have the Burlingame High School music classroom renovation. That's going to be exciting, just totally renovating and gutting and updating that music classroom. A Cappuccino High School baseball safety netting. That's something that we've needed and requested by the site, just all these fall balls going out. So we want to keep them inside our campus. District-wide solar arrays, district-wide EV fleet transition. This is exciting with Transportation Department working with Kelly Hubbard. And so that'll start June 3rd in putting our temporary chargers for our fleet. We also have our district-wide public-facing EV charging stations and our Hillsdale High School Transite Phase 3. Anything that wasn't picked up on the last two phases is being picked up in Phase 3. San Mateo High School Stadium turf replacement, football field right behind us, and San Mateo High School boiler chiller replacement. We've been underway on this project, but the actual swapping of the boiler chillers will happen this summer. Mills High School Transite Phase 2 site improvements. That's the beautification of the front of this school site, and Mills High School turf replacement. So here we have our Burlingame High School music classroom renovation. QK is our architect. Our budget is 1.96 million. Current projected cost is at 1.10 million. Our schedule is June 2024 through August of 2024, and current project schedule is August through 2024. So once again, this is going to be modernized, upgraded from flooring to ceiling to wall to paneling to acoustic paneling and new curtains. Our Cappuccino High School baseball safety netting. Our Carducci Associates are architect of record, schematic design. That's something that was not included here, but it's in the sports complex budget. It's at $250,000 is our projected cost, and it's scheduled for June of 2024 through July of 2024. Current project schedules on schedule currently. District-wide solar arrays. Our architect is NV5 Global. Schematic design budget is 12.84 million. We're on target for that. And our schedules from June of 2024 through September of 2024. And current project schedule, once again, is August to 2025. I did want to say that the district office and Mills High School will be the first to start this summer, basically stamping out of DSA. District-wide public-facing EV chargers are Construction Vitals Architects NV5 Global. Schematic design is 3.84 million. Current project cost is 3.84 and schedules from June to September of 2024 and schedule completion August 2025. So once again, this project will start for temporary chargers at the transportation yard. But this is actually the public facing. So it's a little different. This gives a little bit more for this fleet transition from NG, and our budget here is 3.40 million. Current projected cost is 3.4. Our schedules from June 2024 through August of 2025. And this just gives us a little bit of what the infrastructure is in place, what PGE covers. We've partnered with the district and covering the switchgear and San Mateo's. And we did get some gap funding from Peninsula Clean Energy that'll help us with our chargers. And that's about for $100,000 for our fleet transition. So cost savings for the district there. We also have our Hillsdale High School Transite site improvements. This is our phase 3. We have a budget of 3.6 million. Finney Architects is the architect of record. Current projected costs are at 3.6. Our schedule is from June through August of 2024, and projected schedule is through August of 2024. Mills High School Transite Phase 2 site improvements. Once again, this is HED, who is the architect of record, and this is the budget of the Transite that we're covering the costs for this beautification with awnings, canopies, hardscaping, seating arrangements for students to wait for ride pickups from their parents. But it's definitely going to change the look here for this site. Current projected schedule is June 2024 through September of 2024. And we have the Mills High School turf replacement here for the main quad area, as well as the volleyball area. So LPA Design Studios is our architect of record. Our budget is $400,000, and our schedule is from June of 2024 through August of 2024, and scheduled for completion at the end of the summer. Mills High School switchgear replacement. LPA Design Studios is our architect of record, and our schematic design budget is $2 million. Current projected cost is 1.86. And so our schedule is from June of 2024 through August of 2024. Completion currently for the project, I think there's a typo there, August 2025, but it's 2024. San Mateo High School Stadium turf replacement. LPA Design is our architect of record here. And so our approved budget is $400,000. Current projected costs are on target. Our schedule is from June of 2024 through August of 2024. And we're on schedule with this project with procurement of the field and contractors. Our San Mateo High School chiller boiler replacement. I do want to say is much needed, and I'm excited for this project. Not much to get excited over chillers and boilers, but when you think about infrastructure, you're like, yes, that's great. You know, just clean air quality. We're thinking, you know, sustainability route. So I'm just excited about this project. HYA is our architect. Our schematic design budget is 4.59 million. Current projected cost is 3.32. Our schedule is to start June 3rd through August of 2023, and completion at the end of August. August 9th. Now, projects and design. This is something we're currently working with, once again, with all of your assistance. And thank you, Superintendent, for including our teachers into these dialogues and just brainstorming weekly and what are the teachers looking for. And so thank you for that, Superintendent Booker. Our district-wide classroom refresh here, that is in design, our district office genset, and our Hillsdale High School switchgear replacement. Obviously with asterisk, they're not Measure L projects, and they're funded with other sources. So our district-wide classroom refresh and technology infrastructure improvement, our architect of record is HED. Our board-approved budget is 104 million, almost 105 million, just shy of that. Our schematic design budget is pending, and our current projected costs, once again, is 104.8 million. Our schedule for this project is June of 2025 through September of 2026. And these will be done in phases. Some high schools will start sooner rather than others. And it's just because of the magnitude of 400 plus classrooms that will be modernized and go through this transition. And with that, Yancy, our financial reports.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Quintana. So in this report for the financial summary, there's 3 categories. There's the Board of Trustee approved budget from 2020. So just to be clear, that was an initial budget within the planning of the bond. The numbers actually came from projections in 2019. So we're almost 5 years from those projections right now, but it was the basis that we came up with. One thing for trustees, we update that budget when we come with the schematic design budget. So when Dr. Quintana was talking about the individual budgets, it included the schematic design budget, which the board approved once we had kind of all of the detailed information that we needed from staff around what the projects needed. Our current projected cost, those numbers come from Dr. Quintana's team, along with a lot of support from Greystone West, our construction management group. And then our overall over under, I think, even though I like to go one by one, I think you can go to the bottom line. As of right now, we are a little bit under our original 2020 budget overall. We are thrilled at that. That means we have not dipped into our contingency on the project. So I want to thank our entire team for that. I also want to thank the board for making the decision in early 2021 to go out for the Series B a little bit early, which allowed us to move up the timing and save some escalation funding. But yeah, overall, we're in great financial shape for Measure L. I'm going to knock on wood because we do have the single largest project coming up in the classroom refresh transformation project. But we're feeling really great about that. And then, really starting our facility master planning again to ensure that we're continuing to look at all the needs from our campuses from a facility standpoint. And a lot of things have changed since 2019 when we really took a hard look at all of our facilities. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I'm sure Dr. Quintana and his team are as well.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
This has probably already been answered, but is transite encapsulation, is that just for looks or is there a function to that?
Well, it's dual. There is a function that anything that is age that had asbestos in it that can become friable, that transite can pose a danger. So because of the age and just being proactive for that, preventing that for that to happen, we encapsulate them. So it's not just a look, it's really a safety measure. Also, we put rigid insulation there, and that gave us a lot more cost savings for our energy and sustainability for all of our sites that had this transite encapsulation.
I see. Thanks.
Yes.
Transite was an inexpensive and strong way to do that, but it did not have a lot of insulation in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So at those campuses, we spend a lot more to heat and cool our classrooms, but not anymore with this project. So thank you, Dr. Quintana.
Absolutely.
That our rating is really important.
So just to continue with that, I was going to talk about transite too. So I guess the one question I'm having is, how is it going so far? And asbestos containment is a concern that has come up a long time ago when we were starting the process.
Absolutely.
How's things going? How is it so far?
So far we've had great success in encapsulating and keeping that in place. I think we're going to have another 50, 60 years in that encapsulation easily with the systems in place. Just the transom that's put on there, once again, the insulation and then the plywood and stucco and waterproofing on that is really going to give us a longer end of life here. When you talk about just transite being exposed, the end of life is not favorable. I mean, once again, we've prolonged that another 60 plus years.
Okay.
So it's great.
I mean,
great
there
news.
was some concerns
Sure.
a while ago when we first started this process. So I'm glad to hear that.
No, absolutely.
And then just a practical question. Why is Aragon costing so much, or the deficit? What was the unanticipated
So it was
problem there?
It was definitely an early assumptions of the amount of scope of work that was going to take for Aragon. After walking the rest of the project and really evaluating some other spaces that were already kind of had some siding on it, but we're like, hey, let's look behind here, and we found more transite. And so it was exploration period. Good thing that Mill did not have that much transite, so we took some of that budget from Mill's transite
I
project.
see in some cases really great. It's going well and well in budget, if not saving quite a bit, but I was
Absolutely.
just curious about what happened with Aragon. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's just exploring and finding more spaces that had transite under stairwells, things that were just storages, and we're like, that's transite, so we have to cover it.
And then going back to the other two, the district genset, what genset? Sorry.
But that's a generator. That's an emergency generator.
Oh, okay.
And so we're very fortunate to have that. It's not going to be something we're going to be operating really at any time, maybe just an annual turn on and check it. But with so much happening, green LED, we are finding that sometimes when we have an emergency, and our superintendent's great in preparing us for that, we need to have power here when all our solar arrays are down and we have no power in a natural emergency. So that's going to help us tremendously having that emergency power.
And sorry.
Well, one additional, our NOC, we call it the Network Operating
Yes.
Center, is you can see it right over here by the track. That's our internet for the entire district. So if that goes down when we have power and it's more than, the hour or so that we have battery backup, the entire district is without internet. And so given that internet is now probably just as important as water and power to our schools, having that backup generator for an emergency purposes, like Dr. Quintana said, but also just if our power goes down for any sustained amount of time, we can run that because we do have diesel tanks over in the transportation yard, and we could keep that going either in emergency or in a situation where we lost power just in this area and we wanted our other sites to have internet.
Yeah, what a statement! Water and internet in the same. I mean, where are we?
Yeah, what did we come to?
Welcome to the brave new world. Final question. So you were mentioning, so Yancy, I was just thinking when you said this. So when we talk about the classroom revamp, how extensive are we talking about price wise?
And
how extensive is it going to be? I mean, we talking every classroom in the district, or
it's every classroom in the district. So this doesn't include office spaces or hallways.
No, I know.
But it is every single classroom, including all subjects in the classroom. We're talking flooring, we're talking lighting, we're talking
desks, tables, furniture.
We are not talking furniture. That was not included in that. We have heard interest by some folks, but in 2019, and then actually again when I started, I went to each of the individual sites and confirmed their interests. That was not. I was a little surprised, but that was not. We are hearing more interest. I think that's because individual sites have, over the last 3 or 4 years, they've used some of their facility use money to buy some new classrooms, and they've been, I think, experimenting with some. So I think there is some increased interest. But as we look into our facilities master planning process, that will definitely be something that we'll bring up and look at. And also, if we continue, again, knock on wood, if we continue to do well financially, the board will have some decisions to make in terms of the contingency dollars that were there for, if needed basis. So there potentially is some contingency money, but we won't talk about that until we've really bid out the classroom transformation projects, because that's the last, that's $100 million, even a 15% change, in the cost of that is another $15 million. So
I guess the only thing I'm going to say, and I hear you very clearly, so I'm not pushing anything. But one of the things that when you talk about innovation, we talk about looking to the future. Classroom furniture does have a role to play, and single seated desks have certain kind of ancient industrial age mentality. And so at some point in time, it would be nice to us to consider alternative furniture for innovative classrooms. I think in some instances, you do it. I mean, you have certain spaces that are going to be unique and creative, et cetera, just because of the fact of what they are, especially certain electives and, et cetera, et cetera. But when you really think about some classrooms, the setup and how it does, I know some teachers are like, no, I want my rows. I want my single seat desks. But the conformity and the industrial age of that is just, we have to consider that at some point in time. That's all my comments.
No, I do want to say that in our weekly collaborative meetings with site administrators and teachers, we're identifying some of these needs and wants and some necessities. Like not everything is going to be cookie cutter.
Right.
Math teacher is going to need more of a magnetic dry erase board as opposed to panel boards, tack boards. He doesn't need that. I need something I can write on. Where others just need, a primary, secondary television or monitor to conduct their wireless activities and
with
get everybody
AirPlay.
interactive.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that we're having in weekly discussions and what that's going to shape or look like. We're going to have a schematic design for every site, and our architect and our team are going to go to every site and literally collaborate with the site administrators and teachers. What does your classroom look like and what would function here? What would work here? So they're identifying some things that are necessities and other things that can we use that funding for this?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just to reiterate, when you say classroom transformation,
sure,
it involves furniture at some point.
Yeah.
And, to Trustee Land's point, it also means accessibility. And so,
yeah,
some furniture just it's not accessible. I'd like to see some push buttons so doors can open automatically and we don't have to worry about heavy doors pulling out of your wheelchair or having to balance or whatever it is. Those are my wishes for the district. Just further accessibility. So yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Trustee Chavez.
Thank you. Dr. Quintana, gosh, I'm so tired. Excellent presentation, and I'll see you next Thursday at the COC meeting. I don't have a lot of questions about the numbers because we really dig into the details.
That's right.
At our monthly, it's not going to be maybe every other month, bi-monthly meeting. Yeah. So, but I want to thank you because having updates at the board meeting, this is what we want. So this is great. So thank you. I wanted to, springboard off what you said, Trustee Land, regarding the classroom. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I went on a tour of some, I guess, amazing schools. One was in the East Bay, one was in the North Bay, but we were doing that as a school district, on the elementary school district, to look at furniture and STEM classrooms. What does it look like? And it was great because they didn't just have the single rows, they didn't have the rows of the single seats. It was more of a collaboration of, I can't explain it very well, I can't articulate, but it maybe like a box, different groups together. And I think it fosters collaboration amongst the students. And I think that would be good. So I just springboard off what Trustee Land said, but I just want to comment that thank you for the presentation and providing an update on everything.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thursday.
No, definitely we'll see you on Thursday. But President Zuniga, just want to say accessibility is also really near and dear to myself and to DSA for that matter. They definitely want to make sure we have accessibility and we are integrating that into every one of these classroom designs. Definitely we'll have to share some of those documents, some of the design concepts with the board here as well.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Trustee Griffin, Trustee Jacobson, nobody? Okay, pues muchas gracias. Thank you.
De nada. Gracias. Thank you. Good night.
I would like to just, as a point of privilege, note that Dr. Quintana and his team, given that Bridge was here tonight, I believe the board may have heard about it, but Dr. Quintana and his team went over to Bridge and they did a special lesson with the Bridge students around construction management.
Beautiful.
And they brought them through the construction of the San Mateo gym, walked them through all of the processes. And I just wanted to formally thank you for that. That was a really wonderful collaboration between the facilities department and our Bridge school now. So
yeah,
That's
thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just
What
want
an
to
amazing staff. We're lucky to have this.
I do want to say that we did it in Spanish, 100% from start to finish in our presentation. And, we think about A through G requirements and we talk about this here, but these pathways and access for Latino students, we need to give them alternative, pathways. And so hopefully that shifts, where everybody comes out with A2G requirements by 2036 or 2038. These are many districts' goals. But if I can assist in any manner, I'd love to do it. Once again, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I couldn't have done all of this without your support, Yancy, the fiscal team, Vanessa and Valerie that are here today, as well as the M&O team, Linda, Carlton. Their team is just phenomenal. You have a great district here. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good night. Thank you.
Too. I do want to say thank you to both V's back there, Vanessa and Valerie. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to approve the 24-25 budget assumptions. Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you. So we're right in the middle of our budget development calendar right now. Our fiscal team, led by Valerie Miller and Vanessa Castano behind me, are hard at work.
Sorry, it's so late. They're like,
They're working on the budget right now, so they may have been in their offices working, but we really appreciate that they're here. I say it every time I'm up here, but they do 99+% of the work here. I get to present it, but we're incredibly lucky to have them here doing this incredible work that we can rely on. So in terms of the budget, we did our budget study session a little bit different this year. We did it in the fall. And then early in the year, the board approved the budget development calendar. A little bit after that, they approved the enrollment projections, which are a huge part of our budget development process. Tonight is the next step where we're going to look at the general fund budget assumptions, assuming that those are approved to move forward. We will come back in June. The two meetings in June 6th, we will bring a draft budget to the board, only the general fund. And then on June 20th, we will present our proposed budget, and that is all funds, general fund all the way through. In terms of agenda, I'll go over key takeaways, factors impacting the budget. We'll go school by school for enrollment projections. We'll look at the staffing projections, look at STRS and PERS rates, look at a little bit of history around AV growth and employee compensation, go through a summary of the most important budget assumptions other than staffing and enrollment. We'll also go through our one-time funding and step down, which we do at almost every one of these budget meetings. And then I'll go over where we are from second interim and into an initial look at our 24-25 budget. And we always end with what are the next steps? When are you going to see us next? So if you don't listen to anything else I say for the rest of the evening, here are the key takeaways right now. Secured property tax growth in our assumption is at 4% right now. We've popped up a little bit higher than that. I just looked earlier today. We're at about 4.15% as of today. And so we'll continue to monitor that. As we get a little bit closer, we'll probably pick a day in a few weeks here to use whatever the AV tracker is with the County of San Mateo for our adopted budget assumption. We continue to see our state mandated pension rates increase, while STRS, our certificated pension, has leveled off now at 19.1%. Our PERS rate continues to increase year over year and is still projected to increase. We still have the long-term impact of the one-time funding, federal and state. We continue to step down the COVID-funded positions. In fact, the board took action earlier this year to amend its step-down plan because of information and feedback received. Enrollment impacts. As a district, we are seeing a slow decline over the last few years, and we continue to see that, but it doesn't affect all sites equally. So every site is a little bit unique in terms of how that will impact them. On a positive note, we are in a very strong financial position to face any of the challenges that are ahead of us. In terms of the state, the governor's budget, usually we're looking at as a community funded or basic aid school district. Our primary interest and concern is at our AV growth, our property taxes. But we do still receive some funding from the state. But as you've probably read in articles in the last few months, the state is facing some pretty significant challenges. There were no new significant money expected in the budget, and we'll get the May revise. We actually just found out today. They announced that it'll come out tomorrow, a few days early. So more information to come on that. But we very much do not expect any new significant money in that. As I'm sure you've seen in your own utility bills from PG&E and et cetera, we've seen some increases over the last year, and that's both in the electricity and especially gas prices, as the commercial natural gas market has gone up pretty significantly. And then we continue to monitor special education placement and settlement costs. The pandemic has been really tough for some of our students, and we've seen understandable increase in that. But those are expensive placements, and we need to really look at those as we move forward. So factors impacting the budget, I'll just hit on a couple. The number one thing that I'm always looking at pretty much daily is the assessed valuation tracker. That's on our secured taxes, which all of our taxes are approximately 80% of our revenue. So really monitoring that. Our enrollment projections, as I noted, we're projecting a slow decline over the next year based on the population of our partner districts that we've seen over the last few years, and that we see the next 9 years. Staffing projections are key because 80+% of our funds are spent on people. And so those enrollment projections then drive our staffing projections and are really important. The last couple are collective bargaining. Obviously, given 80% of our budget is in people, collective bargaining has a significant impact on our budget. And then really the one-time funding in COVID for federal and state level is the highest level that we've seen maybe ever in education. And it's come with wonderful possibilities, but also, tough decisions as that money has dried up and we move out of COVID. So in terms of enrollment projection, we noted that we're seeing a slow decline over the last few years, and that is projected to continue into the out years. We're looking really mostly at about 1% to 2% a year on an average. Aragon sees the same trend. They're a slow decline, and we continue to monitor that. The one exception to the slow decline is actually at Burlingame High School. We continue to see, they're coming from Greg. Sorry, Trustee Land. And so we continue to see a slow increase in that. So we'll continue to monitor that because that site, in terms of size, is one of our smaller sites. So it's a little tougher if we needed to put in portables or other potential options. We have less space to put that in at that site. In terms of cap, we see probably the largest percentage decrease of all of our sites. One thing to note, though, is the numbers that we're seeing here are actually a decent amount higher by 10+% than we've seen in the last couple of years. So we are still projecting, given the numbers we see at San Bruno Park, as well as at Millbrae School District, both of which have students that feed into Cappuccino. So we'll continue to monitor this, still a decline, but not quite to the level that we were looking at in the last couple of years. Hillsdale kind of shows that, kind of matches up with the trend of the district as a whole. Mills actually is pretty flat for us. So not exactly the trend of the district as a whole, not really going up, not really going down. It has gone down a little bit over the last few years, but the projection is to stabilize, maybe go up a percent, down a percent. In terms of Peninsula, these numbers aren't really as we've opened the bridge school. Those numbers are going to be a little bit different, as you see, at the 200 level, and then dropping down in the next few years without those bridge students. And then San Mateo High School, it's generally running along with the district, but with a pretty big decrease in the current year. And so there'll be some impacts there. In terms of the certificated staffing, a huge chunk of what drives this schedule is the enrollment that is approved by the board. And so as we go through, I'll just hit a couple of things that are a little different than in prior year. This year, we've included a new staffing addition for our multilingual non-newcomer adjustment. And so that's included on that first page. In terms of the second page, we're excited that the Proposition 28 funds are included in the budget, as well as the staffing on there. And so overall, we see a slight decrease year over year in terms of overall FTE. That's primarily due to that declining enrollment, the step down of one-time resources. So we had allocated some extra sections to our sites with one-time money. And then WASC was a one-time allocation this year. Every site received some staffing in order to support the WASC accreditation process this year. And that's offset by the additional, the ML staffing that was added in the district. In terms of classified staffing, this is very similar to second interim. The only differences really that we're seeing are the changes in step down plan that the board approved earlier this year, including making permanent of the mental health counselors and campus safety specialists. I hit on it a little bit earlier in the, things to key considerations, but STRS is our retirement for our certificated staff. Certificated staff, that's our teachers, counselors, psychologists, principals, anyone who needs a certification from the state to do their job. They are members of the state teachers retirement system, STRS. This has increased from 8.25% that we paid for, probably 50 years before 2013-14. That has now fully been implemented at 19.1%. But the nice thing is we've now gotten our way through that. That's about 2/3 of the total overall cost for our district in terms of salaries. So we are seeing that flatten out. On the other hand, PERS, which their rates are not set by the legislature, but they're set by the PERS board. We continue to see those rates increase and the projections continue to rise. One thing to note is if you look out in 26-27, the projection is that for our classified employees, the driven costs alone on those are 37.2%. So they are significant. In terms of employee compensation and AV growth, this is a chart of the last 5 years in terms of AV growth, salary increases, and the changes in PERS. Just to note, the cost of increases in STRS and PERS is roughly the exact same as an increase of 1%, or sorry, that percent to the unit. And we always note in terms of employee compensation costs that our average step and column cost is about 1.25%, which is about 1.7 million. And the cost of 1% to all units is about 1.5 million. I'll just hit on three items here in terms of our budget assumptions. As of right now, as we noted, our assessed valuation is projected at the 4%. We'll update that in a couple of weeks when for the June 6th meeting. The salary increase right now, there's not a salary increase in there because we are currently in negotiations with our labor partners. So if we have updated information, we will include that in the budget for June 6th. And the staffing levels relatively flat year over year as we move forward. In terms of one-time funding, I think we've gone a lot into this. This is the same slide from second interim, but we still do have a relatively significant amount that is being spent down. A lot of it is in 24, 25. And then the last of it is that Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, which is scheduled to be used by June 30th of 2028. This really drives, if you look at the restricted side of our budget, and you'll see in a little bit, if we're running a deficit on the restricted side, it's the spend down of these dollars. In terms of the step down, the board in previous years approved the step down plan of the COVID funds specifically. In the current year, because of feedback received, the trustees made a change to that plan in order to maintain mental health therapists, student success coordinators, and campus safety specialists. So this was approved earlier this year. In terms of when we look at second interim and then we look at our budget assumptions moving forward for 24-25, at second interim, we showed roughly a break-even unrestricted budget. We still have spend down on the restricted side of those COVID and other one-time funds. And then in 24-25, we do show a small deficit of a little under 1%, but that's primarily with one-time commitments. And so if you take out those one-time commitments, we're at about a break-even projected budget as of right now. I apologize. So what are the next steps? May revise, like I noted earlier, we're expecting that out tomorrow, which is a few days early, which will be great because hopefully we can bring the details of that to the May 23rd board meeting. The state will adopt their budget by June 15th. As we know, when they passed the law that they didn't get paid unless they passed the budget. Shockingly, the budget started getting approved on time. We'll look at the San Mateo County Assessed Value Tracker. Look at that daily. We'll continue to monitor enrollment as that directly impacts staffing. Negotiations will be a big factor as we look forward. And then we'll analyze how the long-term management plan aligns with our goals and our LCAP as Dr. Kemke is working on finalizing that, which will come with the budget in June. We'll manage our fund balance as the board has always done in our financial resources to maintain fiscal solvency and stability. We will resist using future projected dollars or one-time monies to justify paying for ongoing expenditures. And then we'll manage our step down of positions and expenditures funded by one-time revenue. So with that, I'm happy to open it up to questions.
Thank you. Anybody, questions or concerns? Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Quick question. We've never used resist on that one-time money. And I know where did we get it? Is that a philosophy or is that just a word choice?
I would say it's both. I would say it's both. But I think when we look at our, we have a set of budget that haven't changed and in a set of guiding principles from our budgeting. And one of those is not using one-time money for ongoing expenditures.
Which is not resist.
No, it is don't do.
Okay.
Well, I would say sometimes you have to do resist it though. Like don't give in to temptation around this kind of approach with one-time monies. Or be another way to think about it is be really, really thoughtful and careful when it comes to playing fast with one-time money. Because it historically what it's shown in district after district after district is that it comes to bite you.
Yeah.
Bite you, meaning the district as a whole. Yeah.
You're talking to the choir here. I am anyway.
trying to help them with the definition of.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes.
So, couple of questions. So with PERS, I know we talked about STIRS and PERS on a regular basis, and I know PERS keeps increasing. What's the percentage of costs in comparison to, what's the percentage of PERS that impacts us versus STIRS?
Yeah, so our salaries are, this is super rough, but
Right.
2/3 certificated, 1/3
That's all right.
classified.
PERS, right.
Yeah, so the impact to an increase in PERS is, maybe a little bit less than 1/2 of what the impact of the same increase to STIRS.
Good. That's what I wanted to know. The Prop 28 funding.
Yes.
Is that going to be affected at all?
Well, it will be in the sense of because the Prop 98 guarantee will actually decrease significantly year over year. This year, sorry, maybe I didn't.
No, I was thinking specifically because Prop 28 is the one that's ongoing.
It is ongoing, correct, but it is ongoing based on 1% of Prop 98 guarantee.
Got it. So it may decrease, but it's still guaranteed.
It's still guaranteed at 1% of Prop 98, but it is subject. So usually we see a steady increase in Prop 98. This year, we're actually going to see potentially a decrease, but then we expect to see that kind of steady increase again.
So with the budget coming out tomorrow, what are some impacts? With the governor, just knowing the governor's assumptions and going into what we're dismal, as you said, it's going to be a huge difference. What's the impact going to be for us or any changes?
Probably not a lot.
Okay.
I think the biggest is, we always hope that the state will come up with programs for all districts and, we would be included in that. We very much don't expect that. I think the things that we're looking at is will the governor revise his plan on Proposition 98? So there is a maneuver that the governor proposed in his January budget that the California School Boards Association, CASBO, and a few other people, while they appreciate that it is done to support education in the current year, they see it as a potentially dangerous maneuver that allows the state to manipulate the Prop 98 guarantee.
Right.
So we're very interested to see if that gets pulled out. That's a very kind of inside baseball thing, but it's very important. The LAO put out a few recommendations of how the state potentially could deal with its deficit problem. A few of those would impact community funded districts.
Oh, really?
Very specifically around what they used to call like the fair share. If you guys remember way back from 2010, all community funded school districts took a quote unquote fair share reduction of their categorical money.
Yeah.
And then they were locked in for good. The LAO has said that one recommendation would be to look at that quote unquote
further cut.
Potentially, because it's above and beyond the $120 per ADA that's guaranteed in the state constitution.
That's
what we received in categoricals prior to all categoricals being rolled into the LCFF.
Yeah.
There's a couple other, very technical things that we're going to look for. I don't expect that to be in the budget. I do expect there to be a change in the governor's plan on how they're going to manipulate Prop 98. And just for really high level, they passed the budget this year without any of the data from the tax collections because of the storms last year that moved back the tax collection data.
Right.
So this year's budget was based on revenue that never really came in. And so Prop 98 was benched, which is the guarantee to schools, was benched at that much higher guarantee, and they've allocated that money. So unless they find a way to take that money back, either by taking the money back or by doing this maneuver, an adjustment, they'll have to look at that. So,
okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Is there public comment? Because I want to make a motion.
Yes.
Sorry, I was coughing.
Oh, sorry.
I want to thank you for all your work on this and also Vanessa and Valerie behind you. Sitting behind you. So thank you. This is, I know it takes a lot of work to put this together. I did go through it. I don't have any questions.
That's
It's
great.
really, thank you.
Yeah, the team, like I said, does 99% of the work. And so I very much appreciate the work of the team.
Great, thank you. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Anybody on public comment?
There's none.
Great, thank you. All right, you would like to make a motion, right?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the budget assumptions.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Griffin, second by trustee Land. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much for all your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, going on to. I wish. So there's nothing in construction, right?
Correct.
So Division of Human Resources.
We had the personnel consent agenda that has the personnel actions and then 3 MOUs that have been to the board before. They're just being renewed.
Great. Any comments?
Make a motion to approve the human resources personnel consent agenda.
Almost. Hold on one sec. Anybody on public comment? No? Okay, now go ahead.
Second.
Thank you. So motion by trustee Land, second by trustee Griffin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Going on to personal actions.
Yes, we have the personal actions and 3 recognitions, if I may. Gregory Quigley, physical education teacher at Hillsdale High School, has submitted his retirement effective May 31st after 34 years in the district. Julie Seuss, a special education teacher at Aragon, submitted her retirement effective June 28th after 17 years in the district. And Vicky Ottoboni, a student nutrition services lead at Burlingame, submitted her retirement effective August 1st after 14 years and 4 months in the district.
Okay, any comments? Any public comments? Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the addendum.
Second.
Okay, motion trustee Land, second trustee Griffin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, final action.
Final action of the resolution for the step down, the layoff that supported the step down program for the mental health therapists, student success coordinators, and campus supervisors. This is the first one was in February. We have to do the second one by May 15th. So we recommend approval of the resolution.
Comments? Public comments? Wait, sorry, trustee Chavez, do you have a comment?
So this is the resolution, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah, I only, the comment I have about the resolution, and I know it's just legal wording that we have, that, I'm sorry. The resolution itself mentions the health aides, the 3.0 FTE health aides that are no longer, the work isn't there. I know it's just semantics, but I just want to make sure that this is regarding the COVID related work that was previously funded solely with COVID funds, and that those positions aren't needed anymore. Because it doesn't say here, it mentions lack of work or lack of funds, but I know it's COVID related, and the resolution doesn't mention that, but I just wanted to reiterate that this is solely linked, this is completely linked to the COVID funds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Public comments. None? Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by trustee Griffin, second by trustee Jacobson, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Abstain.
Sorry?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, an abstention by trustee Land. Thank you. Let's see, wellness program.
Right. So we have a great employee wellness program that supports a lot of things. And one of the things that it does is it reimburses employees when they do athletic competitions and leagues and those type of things. We've had it at $80 reimbursement for each semester we looked back and it looks like about 9 or 10 years. We've had it at $80. And in that time, the cost of leagues and races and whatnot has really increased due to, safety measures and just the cost for regulations to have streets blocked off and those type of things, inflation, of course. So we're recommending an increase. We have the budget to increase it from $80 to $150 per semester for reimbursements only.
Comments? Public comments? Okay,
Quick question. I do have a comment.
yes.
How many people take advantage of that?
There's 52 this year.
Okay. I wish
So-
more people
And-
took advantage
know.
of it.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Mhm. Maybe we should promote it a little more or incentivize it even better. I don't know, but it would be great if more people could take advantage of it. Okay, can I
I
get a
move
motion?
to approve.
Okay, motion by
Second.
trustee Jacobson, second by trustee Land. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. All right, we don't have any other business with any of the agenda items, and then the next one is future board agenda items. So we've got board study session, May 16th, district logo redesign, May 23rd, CTE pathways, academic counselors, gateway update, and instructional leadership update. And that's it. With that said, we are adjourned.
I just want to say